pleasant this afternoon, a high of 64. Mainly clear skies for tonight, patchy fog late, low 42. Patchy fog in the morning tomorrow, otherwise mostly sunny skies with a high of 58. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
52 at O'Hare, 54 in fog along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm suffering from a little bit of a metaphysical crisis this morning. Am I really here?
I know.
Are you really out there? Send up a signal that life on Earth still exists as it did before last night's game. 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA. Turnkey.pro text line. And Amy,
Dan,
I'll just start by saying, as a never Cubs Sox fan, I will congratulate you and the Cubs, and
this is an epic moment.
And admit that the better team won the series, and also the $100 I owe you for.
Yes,
there you go. There it is.
Thank you. Here's $100. Yeah, we bet $100 then, or I did, that the Cubs would win.
Now,
Game 7. And
no, you didn't bet $100. He was paying for volleyballs.
That's right.
That's not going in your pocket.
Oh,
That's
no, this is
right.
not going to my
That's
pocket.
right.
We have a
No.
playoff game, and this is going straight. I'm going straight from here to Dick's Sporting Goods
As the
and
official
getting nice volleyballs.
And
none of this
the
janky
arbiter
stuff.
of this bet.
yes,
that's going
correct.
to volleyball.
That's right. And we don't use the term bet
what's the word?
because
No.
I don't want to have Amy taken into custody.
Oh,
no, we do not.
okay.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean, what a spectacular Game 7. You can ask for extra innings, free baseball, rain delay. I mean, it was all.
God tried to intervene with the rain.
He did.
He did his best.
He tried.
Not even he
tried.
can stop the Cubs.
No, he can't.
I've been born and raised a diehard Cubs fan. I bleed Cubby Blue. It's not a sport. It's not a game. It's a life. It's a lifestyle. Like, this means everything to our city, to our families, memories. Go Cubs!
Family. Everything. I
Everything
understand
to
the
my
exuberance
cities.
in the moment, but
Here,
yeah.
I'm going to sell my children. I'm going to give away my husband all for a Cubs World Series.
look,
A lot of people, there are a lot of kids out there last night because I was one of them out there with my kids.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you were going to say you were a kid out there.
No, I had my kids out there at Clark and Addison until I finally called them. Like, guys, it's getting a little ugly. But I got to tell you, Chicago police, when they took these drunk fans down and just slammed them to the ground, I mean, that was awesome.
Oh, it's like
Andrew's sitting there, or Peyton sitting there with his phone. Oh, Mom, this is great. I'm going to be a cop someday. I'm going to be a cop.
who doesn't want to beat up those sorority boys?
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
With their little man buns. Oh,
Yeah.
get that man bun shit out of here. We don't need to see that
They
stuff.
were probably drawing straws to see who got to take down the next one.
Oh, and then there's,
having
of
fun
course,
with it.
screaming people everywhere.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Play it. The Cubs win the World Series.
Let that sink in, Dan. Did you hear it?
It was a great baseball game if you like baseball, which I do not anymore.
Oh, really? 312-642-5600. Dan, what should you? I think we should make you go to the parade on Friday. You'd be so cute in Cubby Blue. How cute you'd be.
I'll just go to the Gay Pride Parade next year. What's the difference? Jeff and Mundelein, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. As a fellow Sox fan, I got to swear I felt a rip in the space-time continuum last night.
Yeah.
I looked out in the backyard and thought I saw a UFO landing. My wife told me put down the bottle of tequila and go to bed.
Thanks for the call.
I mean, in the
Jeff.
bottom of the eighth, when they tied it up and then there was a rain delay, I mean, I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. I mean, there were some ambulance calls, too, for people that were having anxiety attacks. And I'm sure we'll find out this morning that people actually had heart attacks. There's no way around it. I
Yeah,
mean,
like Aroldis Chapman in the eighth.
Don't talk about a better Game 7. We thought we had it won in the in the 7th inning. All of a sudden, we thought we lost it. I mean, that's one for the books. It really was.
Yeah,
one for the books, one for the century.
Century plus. When Rajai Davis hit that homer in the 8th off Chapman, though, you had to think it's happening again.
Yeah. Because remember, we gave up 8 runs in the 8th inning in 2003?
I do remember that.
NLCS, so I thought, oh, no, it's the dreaded 8th inning. But, yeah, Ben Zobrist, MVP.
Yeah, deserve it. I don't think he made an out in the entire series. I think he was like 33 for 33 in the series.
I don't know. He hit that RBI double to take the lead in the 10th, and then you knew that we were winners. Okay, Dan, so what do you want to say to the Cub fans?
How many times do I have to can I just congratulate you once and be done with it? Or you're gonna
You absolutely can.
You're gonna make me.
You're done.
You're gonna make me.
Guys, this is not over. I'll ask the program director if we could take the show down to Grant Park. I think that's where it's going to be, and we can have a live remote from there.
Yeah.
And you can put on your little Cubby Blue. That's tomorrow. What day is it? Where am I? What year is this?
God only gives us the crosses He knows we can bear. Pun intended. Bear. Did you get it?
Get it? Yeah.
But I'm not sure he's right about this one, actually. Mary at Midway, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, I'm surprised you're referring it as a rain delay. Didn't anyone else think, like, when you saw it 9th inning, pouring rain, how these games have been going, didn't you think, like, oh, it was divine intervention? It was like, no, it was saying, this is the end of the drought, and now I'm going to show you. And by the way, Dan, I'm not talking to you. I'm only talking to Amy because you were like Hillary. What you said about the Cubs fans, and you are the biggest quiche eater of all.
All right, thanks for the call, Mary. That's one biblical interpretation.
Yeah.
Biblical scholars hotly debate what the rain meant last night. That debate will rage on for another 100 years.
It was just called a normal weather pattern because, we had the rain first and then it moved on east.
Yeah.
There's nothing epic or biblical about the rain.
That seems like a more plausible explanation.
Thank you.
Brian in Irving Park.
Hey, I just wanted to say congratulations to my Cubs, and I also wanted to point out how this can benefit everybody in the city of Chicago, including you White Sox fans.
Mm-hmm.
Now you all don't have to awkwardly cling to 2005 anymore. You can finally let go of it. Go Cubs.
Thanks for the call,
Well, no,
Brian.
think about it. Now in our lifetimes, we've completed the circle. If anyone who's our age, well, you are, what, 72 or 73?
Yes, and still many years junior.
We've seen the Bears win a Super Bowl. We've seen the Bulls win 3 Pete's, 6 NBA titles. We've seen the White Sox win a World Series. We've seen, what sport am I forgetting? Oh, the Blackhawks, of course. And now we've seen the Chicago Cubs win a World Series. And you know who was there in a front row seat? Little tiny dancer.
Every time you just thought they were putting away, this is a great World Series, Matt. Coming back 3-1 to put all those games together every time, the pitching, the defense, the offense, the home runs, everybody played. It's unbelievable. And to see the joy, I mean, look at this. This isn't this is in Cleveland. Look how many Chicago fans.
He's real excited, the little tyke. For his first baseball game. Here's the thing. Thank you for playing that, and we're going to play that many more times because that's about the only thing that could ruin the exuberance of Cubs fans is to have to listen to Tiny Dancer talk about baseball.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I don't know if you saw this, but Lou Canellis last night, our good friend over there at Fox 32, asked him if he was biting his fingernails. He only has 9 fingers. And he looked down at his, you could see the nub. It was kind of embarrassing.
That's sad.
Okay. All right. Forecast today. It's a foggy start to this glorious day. But it's going to have some sunshine by this afternoon, a high of 65 degrees. Normal for this time of year is 54 degrees, so we're way above that. And then tomorrow, Friday, for the big celebration, the big parade, we're going to have fog in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny, a high of 58 degrees. I know there's a nasty crash in Logan Square. Let's get the latest from Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Yes, it's southbound Western Avenue closed right now from Schubert to the Kennedy. This is right at Western and Logan. Major injuries involved. Northbound Western at the moment is open. You still want to avoid that area. Also have a crash with injuries in Lake in the Hills on Randall Road at Village. Inbound Kennedy on the ramp to the outbound Eisenhower. Right downtown, there's a car with a broken axle. So that ramp going from the inbound Kennedy to the outbound Ike is backed up a bit. The CTA has some delays on the Blue Line. O'Hare-bound trains right in Forest Park at the west end there. There's a bit of a delay. There was a mechanical problem. Just been resolved, but still running a little behind schedule. That's traffic. AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Dr. Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner. It's helped me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Oh, by the way, in other news, Hillary's going to get indicted.
Okay, we'll be
Yeah.
right back. Well, did you see her when she found out that the Cubs won the World Series? There's a picture of her, and she's wearing Cubby blue, and she was watching it from someone's iPad. You know, one of her helpers is holding it up. I mean, she looked like Queen Bee there, and she's hands up in the air. Yay, when they won. It was so cute.
All right.
Because now she's a Cub fan. Again.
Please take note of that, Ohio voters.
Yeah, Ohio voters.
Speaking of, one element of solace Cleveland Indians fans can take is knowing that all of those crisp, new, pre-printed Indians 2016 World Champion T-shirts, they'll be worn by 8-year-old kids in Burundi by the weekend. So, you pay it forward in a sense. So there's something for Cleveland fans too. So anyway, on this report coming out of our friend Brett Baer.
Oh.
Brett Baer, Fox News special report, talked to 2 FBI sources and reported last night that they're moving towards likely an indictment. And it's not with respect to the emails on the Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Dientra computer. It's with respect to the Clinton Foundation.
And these sources said, yes, the investigations will continue. There's a lot of evidence, and barring some obstruction in some way, they believe they'll continue to likely an indictment.
Wow. So how's that going to work?
The good men and women in law enforcement come, pick you up, and take you away. That's how it works. And then you go on trial, and then you go to prison. And then
you put on an orange jumpsuit.
Right,
and
yeah.
you take a mugshot and get fingerprinted.
You get the hose and the delousing like in Shawshank. And then
they check for lice.
So here's what he's saying. The investigation into the pay for play at Secretary of State has been going on for more than a year, longer than we thought. So the Clinton Foundation has been a substantial target. This idea, and it's been kind of reported off and on, but the latest reports I remember is that the Clinton Foundation, there is no investigation. That to the extent there was ever a look into it, that is long since closed. Apparently not so. It's being led by the White Collar Crime Division, Public Corruption Branch of the Criminal Investigative Division of the FBI, so Bret Baier reported. The Clinton Foundation investigation is, quote, a very high priority, unquote. Agents have interviewed and re-interviewed multiple people about the foundation case even before the WikiLeaks dumps. Agents say they've collected a great deal of evidence, and one source told Bret Baier there is an avalanche of new information coming every day. Some of it from WikiLeaks, some of it from new emails. And they're going back to interview some of the people they've interviewed once and twice, a third time. Also, those laptops that were supposed to be destroyed, the laptops from Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson, as part of their limited partial immunity deal. They were going to look to see what's on those laptops and then destroy them. Bret Baier again reporting that the destruction of those laptops has not happened. They're at the FBI field office in Washington, D.C.
Really?
So there's a couple of new things there. I mean, there's a lot here, what Bret Baier reported last night. He also said, according to, again, two sources, agents have found emails believed to have originated on Hillary Clinton's server, secret server, on Weiner's laptop. They say the emails are not dupes and could potentially be classified in nature.
This is going to affect her relationship with Uma.
That's what I know. That's your biggest concern.
I am. I'm worried about those two.
I don't know if they're going to be.
Cats.
I don't know if they're going to be able to offer that. To open that sweet shop in the Pacific Northwest after she's indicted. I agree. FBI sources also say with 99% accuracy that Hillary Clinton's server had been hacked by at least 5 foreign intelligence agencies, and then information had been taken from it. So this was another pending issue. Whether, there was the possibility, but nobody had confirmed and nobody could definitively deny that because of her lax approach and her to classified information, her homebrew server that was so easily hacked, perhaps foreign intelligence agencies hacked and obtained classified information, national security related information that Hillary Clinton was trafficking in illicitly. And now, according to Baier's report, FBI sources telling him with nearly 100% accuracy that at least 5 foreign intelligence agencies had hacked Hillary Clinton's server and that information had been taken from it. So to the extent that any of these multiple developments continues to, there's evidence that continues to mount in support of it between now and Tuesday, this is incredibly damaging, and it ensures that there is no way she can get out from underneath this story before Tuesday. And let me tell you, you look at the polling, she is, free fall is too strong a word, but just barely too strong a word.
Really? I mean,
she is in deep trouble.
Yeah, she had a 12-point lead in the ABC poll, and then last Friday, now it was a 1-point lead. She lost 11 points in less than a week.
Well, you look at the battleground states, too, and you look at RCP averages, not just kind of a one-off poll. RCP averages have Trump up in Ohio, up in Florida, even in North Carolina, up in Nevada, up in Ohio, and within striking distance in a handful of other states, some of which states he needs. So striking distance isn't good enough in, say, New Hampshire or Michigan or Pennsylvania. But he's right there. And actually, there's a couple of the Pennsylvania polls that have come out in the last 48 hours have him basically in a statistical dead heat. The RCP average is still to Hillary's benefit by 3 or 4 percentage points, but where the trend line is Trump. And frankly, the trend line everywhere that matters, battleground states, is Trump. There's a whole lot going to happen between now and Tuesday. And if the Cubs are any indication, I assume this is going to go. They'll end up 269 to 269, and we'll go into extra innings.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Holiday parties come in all shapes and sizes. Elegant plated dinners, festive cocktail hours, casual buffets, themed events, and more.
Tasty Catering is already decked out with the holiday spirit, featuring a brand new holiday catering menu and a team of event planners who are eager to help you experience a successful party of any kind.
So much more than amazing holiday catering, Tasty Catering has been helping companies plan their entire holiday parties from start to finish for decades. Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition.
Your event can be be exactly what you envisioned. All you need to do is visit tastycatering.com or call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 and tell them your event date.
A planner will ask you about your holiday party goals and then help you reach them as simply and stress-free as possible.
tastycatering.com. Start your holiday planning with a company that Chicago trusts. Tasty Catering, 847-593-2000.
Tasty Catering is a Chicago holiday tradition. 847-593-2000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Obama makes an appeal to black voters. They are not where they need to be if Hillary is going to be victorious. That's at 5:38.
And later, wait until you hear about this Cub fan who is on his way to Cleveland, but the flight got delayed and he couldn't go to the game. We'll tell you why it was delayed. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Fog and 54 degrees. Cubs celebrating their first World Series title in 108 years. Ben Zobrist, the MVP. Miguel Montero driving in runs in the 10th. Cubs hang on to beat the Indians 8-7. In other news we're following this morning, 2 U.S. service members are dead. 2 others wounded after an attack in Afghanistan today. Only 5 days to go before the election. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump pounding the pavement in key swing states. Hillary Clinton will be in North Carolina, where Guy Smith is a special advisor to the Clinton campaign.
We're feeling very confident about Colorado, and frankly, we're feeling confident about all these other places.
Donald Trump begins his day with a rally in Jacksonville, Florida.
She wants to blame everyone else for her mounting legal troubles, but she really has no one to blame but herself.
Trump then travels to North Carolina for events in Concord and Selma. 6 arrests are being reported after protesters clash with police at the site of a U.S. Senate debate at an historically black school in Louisiana. Suspect in the murders of 2 Iowa police officers is in custody. Scott Green, captured in Dallas County, Iowa, yesterday. A manhunt for the 46-year-old began after Urbandale police officer Justin Martin and Des Moines Sergeant Anthony Tony Bamino were found shot to death in their cars in separate incidents early on Wednesday. Chicago police officer is in federal custody on charges of sex trafficking involving a 14-year-old girl. Officer William Whitley has been stripped of his police powers. It has been stripped since September of 2015 because of that probe. Boston beat the Bulls 107-100. Bulls' first loss of the NBA season. The news service of Subway. Come into Subway this Thursday, November 3rd. Get a free sub when you buy any sub and any drink. Plus, Subway will donate a meal to Feeding America for each sub purchase. So, help a hungry community buy one, get one free, and help feed America. Only at Subway. 5:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It rained in Cleveland.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play.
In Chicago.
Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
The drought is over.
It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. They're singing, Go Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go.
Congratulations to our world champion, Chicago Cubs.
Go Cubs, go.
This is AM 560, The Answer.
Half-price Wing Tuesdays now at B-Dubs. Any size order of traditional wings costs half as much, making Tuesdays twice as good. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Valid at participating locations for a limited time.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
5:35. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's northwest side, Western Avenue is now closed in both directions between the Kennedy Expressway and Diversey due to a crash near Logan. This also has a ramp from the outbound Kennedy to Western closed right now. Elsewhere, Lake in the Hills, there's a collision with injuries. Randall Road at Village. 8094 westbound, stop and go Indianapolis Boulevard to Calumet Avenue with a stall in the right lane. Edens is looking good. The Eisenhower as well. Stevenson a little heavy around Cicero. Ryan 17 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 Bishop Ford both 21 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Traffic service to Sam's Club. With a Sam's Club membership, you get great savings every time you shop. Save on all your holiday cooking needs with over $5,000 of instant savings offers. Stop by or visit samsclub.com today. Join and save. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club. See club for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Well, patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, some clouds in the area, then some sunshine. High 65, mainly clear, and 43 overnight. Currently 52 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So,
did you get any sleep last night? Did anybody get any sleep last night?
yeah, I cried myself to sleep after the game was over.
I was protecting the homestead
Were
because we
you?
had a lot of drunk people. I got to tell you, Chicago Police, too, thank you so much for shutting down Ashland and Irving Park. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They really we needed every single cop that was out there last night.
And I wasn't there, so I'm going off what you said. I'd also like to add my thanks to Chicago Police for taking a stick to any guy walking around with a man bun.
Seriously,
so thank you for that.
When Peyton wakes up, I'm going to have him text me the picture so you can see this takedown. It was spectacular. They were just leveling people who ran into him and who were, just hammered and were wreaking havoc in our hood, trying to flip cars over. Oh, no, you're not going to do that.
Well,
we'll have arrest totals for you later.
Yes.
Because I know that's important to you.
And getting back to the presidential election a bit here, President Obama is amping up his rhetoric on a number of fronts. And because on the black voter front, it turns out that Hillary Clinton's strict soul food diet not working. It's not enough. No, that's what she's been doing, going to soul food restaurants.
Yeah,
and all
I know.
that.
I'm putting hot sauce in it. Can I have some more hot sauce? I saw that. When she was trying
Angie's Soul Cafe in Cleveland and all these other places because she's down with the struggle, don't you know? And it's not working, and Obama has taken to the urban airwaves, like Tom Joyner's show, to make an appeal. He's conceding the black vote ain't where it needs to be if Hillary's going to be successful.
I need you and everybody who is listening to make it their sole focus over the next 7 days that every single person is out there voting. And I'm going to be honest with you right now, because we've got early voting, we've got all kinds of metrics to see what's going on. And right now, the Latino vote is up.
The Latino.
Overall vote is up. But the African-American vote right now is not as solid as it needs to be.
Wouldn't that be an interesting end if, say, for example, in states like North Carolina, it was the lack of interest, at least with the presidential race. I mean, just like other people may come out to vote and skip the presidential race because they don't want to vote for Hillary. So many of the people who voted for Barack Obama who are black. Wouldn't it be interesting if, as Barack Obama is making this election all about him and his legacy and his presidency, that his base said, no, we're not doing your bidding on this one.
Well,
Sorry.
how is Hillary doing? If you look at the numbers, how is she doing among African American voters?
Well,
or
it's-
likely African American.
I mean, the
voters?
issue is, you have an idea what the splits are going to be. So the issue is turnout, and that's what President Obama is suggesting is from the early voting returns. And you've heard at Mike Scott's newscast, Illinois so far about 12% of registered voters have cast their votes already in early voting in Illinois. You've seen similar numbers in places like Florida, North Carolina, where the overall vote is up, and then you can look at the composition of that vote, and you start to see who's coming out in big numbers and who isn't demographically, and that obviously has President Obama concerned, and it has Hillary Clinton concerned. And how about that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Black voters who are skipping the presidential race or voting for Trump even. We're going to get to the whole voting for Trump thing in just a second with a new video from James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, undercover at a Deborah Ross fundraiser in New York City earlier in the campaign cycle. She's the Democrat nominee for Senate in North Carolina, talking about the black vote and the concept of blacks who would even think about voting Republican. But wouldn't that be interesting if it's black families that say, well, we're not going to kind of be there for you collectively if Hillary is what you're giving us, and you just kind of demand that we fall in line because you're you. And that's essentially what he's saying. I know you like me. I know you think I'm great and you think Michelle's great. But if you want a continuation of what I've done, then you got to vote for Hillary. And could it be possible that at least some substantial percentage of that electorate, a microcosm of the larger electorate, says, you know what, personally, I don't have a problem with Barack Obama. Personally, I kind of like him and I kind of like Michelle. But in terms of do I want what he's done continued for another 4 or 8 years? Do I want an extension of Obamacare or scaling of it? Do I want the foreign policy decisions that he has made? Do I want my household income to continue to stagnate as it has? No, I don't want those things. So, love you, man, but can't be there for you on this one.
But they're not going to vote for Donald Trump, though. So a lot of them are just going to stay home, and I don't mean them, but a lot of African Americans who aren't excited about Hillary Clinton, who aren't excited about the Democratic Party, are just going to sit this one out.
Or they come out just like anybody else, and they skip the presidential race, and they say, I'm not, I can't make that choice, but and then I'll go down ballot and vote for other races. That's possible as well.
The number's 312-642-5600 is the turnkey.pro answer line.
Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I got 3 points to make. One, if you were watching the game, and I'm sure Amy and everyone else was watching that game, you saw a lot of Hillary commercials, and I don't know if they're local or not, but if they were just for Illinois in Chicago, why would she be wasting money here if she had a lot? Two,
no, those are national spots.
Oh, those are national?
Yeah.
Okay. So that takes that up the board. But when I was voting yesterday, and usually Democratic liberal voters, they always got that stupid look on their face. Well, when I was voting yesterday, it was a somber mood. And that's telling me that the voters were trying to keep it low key who they're voting for, which means that they were probably voting Republican. And the third point is, right now, Dan, you're probably the best radio guy in the city of Chicago on talk show. And you know what? You're doing a lot. But you're going to have to step up your game, because after this election, right now you're an influencer. After this election, you're going to be just like me, a complainer, and we don't need that. So you're going to have to get more hours on that radio.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Complimenting you and then telling you to brush up your game.
Yeah, well, it's good. He wants me to continue striving to be better.
Yes.
Be the best me I can be.
It's like the Cubs. They're the best they could be right now. Yeah, it's okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Someday. Chris Bryant has inspired me to be a better radio talk show host.
Ben Zobrist has inspired me to be a better person.
Larry and Bartlett.
Hey, good morning, Dan. I think it's morning. My eyes still aren't working. I was just wondering if Donald Trump was to run around yelling and screaming, "Come on, all you white folk, get out and vote." I wonder if the media might have something to say about that.
Yeah, I wonder. Thanks for the call, Larry. Yeah, gee.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over well.
Interesting. On a related note to Larry's point, and maybe he doesn't need to. This from the Wall Street Journal: rural voters lining up for Republicans. hillbilly elegy strikes back, if you will. You know, I mean, seriously, the report is that the electorate in the Farm Belt is turning out, and they're turning out to vote straight Republican. That's essentially the gist of it. And they use Sac City, Iowa. Do you know this?
Sac City.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
SAC.
Oh,
City.
Sac City.
Yeah, Sac City, Iowa. Yeah.
But you said Zac City. Like, who's this Zac you speak of?
Well, and they just talk about, it's overwhelmingly white, and
we don't say that on the station.
Well, just the demographics. But and the trend line: 2008 plus 9 Republican, 2012 plus 18 Republican, and it's looking like it's going to perform better than that in terms of the Republican vote this cycle. Just using that as sort of a microcosm to make the larger point. Let's go to Tom in Schaumburg. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Happy Cubs.
Yeah, next year finally arrives.
Yeah. I think it's only fair to point out that if anybody thinks that Mr. and Mrs. Obama are campaigning for Hillary, they ought to be living in a treehouse. They're campaigning for nobody but themselves and their legacy. That's all they care about. Secondly, if Hillary really wants to identify with the black crowd, she needs more than the dialect. She needs a pair of bell-bottoms, some suede platform shoes, and the walk. Maybe then she can bring home that black vote.
Thank you. If she is a cartoon character from I'm Going to Get You Sucker, that's going to appeal. Okay. Rudy in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I think Bill is jumping for joy if Hillary winds up in jail. Then he's free to fly around and do whatever Energizer bunny he can get his hands on.
I think he's doing that anyway.
Yeah,
but thanks,
I don't
Rudy.
think he needs her to be behind bars.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Can you pinch me? Cubs won the World Series. Wow. Okay, a wild 8-7 10-inning game. Couldn't ask for a better game. Still having heart palpitations. Today, patchy fog. Otherwise, some clouds and sunshine by this afternoon. A mild high of 65 degrees. Then tonight, some patchy fog. And tomorrow, Friday, for the big parade and celebration, we're going to have fog in the morning. Otherwise, mostly sunny. Great day, a high of 58 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Still people loitering around Wrigley Field. Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
Just a few, Amy, but things have calmed down quite a bit in the last hour or so. Still a heavy police presence there in Wrigleyville. At Logan Square, though, Western Avenue is shut down entirely in both directions. Between the Kennedy Expressway and Diversey and Elston, there's a major crash there, and the ramp from the outbound Kennedy to Western is also closed for investigation. 8094 westbound, slow Indianapolis Boulevard to Calumet Avenue. There's a stall there in the right lane. Indiana Toll Road westbound, slow from State Road 149 to the Portage exit. There's also a delay on the outbound Kennedy Foster to Sayre with another crash there on the right shoulder. It's about a 5-minute delay. Only minor delays elsewhere right now on the area expressways and tollways. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, Chicago Radio
Great
Deals.
Jack Brickhouse.
Thank you. ChicagoRadioDeals.com can help you spiff up your home and auto, wash away the road grime and dirt with a great deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes a wash, vacuum, windows, dash wipe down, an $18 deal for only $10. Give your home the clean it needs with an excellent deal from the Grout Medic of LaGrange. The Grout Medic offers a shower touch-up that includes steam cleaning your shower tiles and grout. Or choose from a clean and color seal floor package for your kitchen or bathroom. A $110 deal, normally valued at $250. And you can shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer, so tackle your home improvement projects with help from ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the beginning. It's okay. I mean, it happened. The Cubs won their first World Series in 108 years. Just slowly process it, Dan.
Look,
and I'm here to help you.
Later in the show, we'll have NBC5 sports reporter Peggy Kaczynski to join in the fun. Everybody can celebrate the Cubs, can give me my proper tongue lashing and denigrate me. It's fine.
What did Statomatic predict was going to happen?
They didn't have a simulation for Game 7.
Oh, because they got nervous, too.
No, because they just went through Game 6. They had Cleveland winning in 6.
Oh, so they just stopped. They just gave up?
I know. They should have done a simulation.
Wimps.
I agree. Statomatic led me astray. All right, so we were talking about Obama and his plea for black families to come out and vote for Hillary Clinton because they're not coming out in the numbers that she needs in order to win some of these battleground states. North Carolina comes to mind. And James O'Keefe, that kind of guerrilla investigative reporter, we've talked about some of his videos before, the Creamy Bob video, voter fraud, and incitement to violence. You know, Creamy Bob, you remember him.
Oh, his name's Bob Creamer.
Yeah, a convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky.
Trademark Dan Brown.
Thank you. O'Keefe attended, or one of his goons, one of his undercover, I mean that playfully, his investigative undercover reporters, went to a fundraiser in New York City in September for Deborah Ross, who is the Democrat nominee in a hotly contested U.S. Senate race in North Carolina, where actually the incumbent Republican Richard Burr is now starting to pull away. And listen to the exchange. First, Deborah Ross on the voter ID law. What are Republicans trying to do by pushing voter ID laws? This is Deborah Ross, the Democrat nominee for U.S. Senate North Carolina.
What's the deal with the Republicans with the voter ID? Like, I don't understand why they keep fighting.
Republicans know that young people, African Americans, and women are less likely to have the ID, so they won't vote.
So they make it hard for them to...
Yes. It's Jim Crow. Just put the roadblock up.
It's Jim Crow. Put the roadblock up because voter ID laws, Republicans push them because they know that blacks and women and young people are less likely to have an ID. What? Really? You're less likely to have a driver's license if you're a woman versus a man? If you're, or a state ID or some kind of...
That makes no sense. And actually, I would beg to differ that we are more likely to be carrying an ID. Women are gender over years. No offense to you guys, but sometimes you forget your wallets and you don't. You're not as organized. As us. But that's so weird.
If that's the best argument the left has in defense of opposing voter ID laws and supporting more opportunities for voter fraud, boy, they're less likely to have an ID. Really? Why? Why would that be? Why they can't get an ID? These massive groups that you're talking about that you just so easily categorize as minority or black or women? There's a lot of people under that description. It's just fascinating. And then this from a major Democrat donor to both Hillary Clinton and Deborah Ross. Benjamin Barber and his wife at this fundraiser talking about blacks who would do anything other than vote for Deborah Ross and all of her Democrat friends.
So there were even Jews who were helping the Nazis more than Jews.
Same thing?
So blacks who are sort of helping the other side, they're equally they're really helping the enemy who want to destroy them. Maybe thinking that if I help them, it'll be different. Maybe I'll get off okay, or somehow I'll save my race by working for the murderers.
He said blacks who work for the other side are effed in the head.
Oh,
other
that's
side
where the
meaning
bleep was.
meaning
Okay.
Republicans. To support Republicans, work for Republicans. They're effed in the head. They're like the Jews who conspired with the Nazis, and they're like they're thinking somehow I'm going to save my race if I work with the murderers. That's what he said about black people who vote or support Republicans. There's your tolerant Democrat Party, leftists.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have a big decision to make. Thankfully, we live in this great country and get to exercise our right to vote and elect the person we think will be best for our family's futures.
Craig, it sounds like you're asking listeners to vote for us.
Listen, you can't control market unpredictability, but you can choose to ride out the highs and lows with Wealth Management Group at your side.
When making any big decisions concerning your financial future, choose us, Wealth Management Group, and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Rain, sleet, and snow are coming to threaten your visibility and turn your commute into a battle. But the Michelin Man is ready to protect you with Michelin Stealth Wiper Blades. Exclusive SmartFlex technology makes these blades flex to the curve of your windshield, giving you the best wipe possible and streak-free long-lasting performance for safer driving. Winter is coming, and when it arrives, be ready. Michelin Wiper Blades. It doesn't get any clearer than this. Available at Walmart, Pet Boys, Home Depot, and other fine retailers.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Second Amendment Sports is a beautiful new 4,000 square foot retail showroom with one of the largest selections of firearms and accessories in northern Illinois, plus 14 premium ventilated shooting lanes. You'll save too because you won't pay Cook County firearms or ammunitions taxes. Hey, it's all here at Second Amendment Sports in downtown McHenry. From the novice to the most experienced shooter, a Second Amendment Sports gift card makes the perfect Christmas gift. Use it for safety classes, CCW classes, or an affordable membership offering range time and loads of benefits. The atmosphere is upscale and sophisticated. Friendly, knowledgeable staff will take care of all your needs. Company or group outings are available, so book early. Call 815-385-5522 or visit secondamendsports.com. Open 7 days a week. That's 815-385-5522 or online at secondamendsports.com. That's secondamendsports.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What does the Cub victory mean to you? It's a clearance sale, one day only. Get your views in, 606.
And your favorite moments of the game. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the Cubs beat the Indians in 10 innings to win the World Series. Chicago police officer charged with sex trafficking. And 12% of Illinois voters have already voted at 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They're partying in Chicago. Hey, Chicago!
like it's 1908, finally celebrating a championship.
This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series!
Beating the Indians in Cleveland 8-7 in 10 innings on Fox. Fox's Jeff Manasso is live in Chicago.
Dave, billboards and Department of Transportation signs throughout this city read in all caps, Cubs win. The curse and over a century of waiting is over.
It's just chaos.
Man, it's the greatest moment.
I can't even tell you what it's like. It's just unbelievable.
A lot of hugs, a lot of tears as thousands of fans went nuts outside Wrigley Field and now rushing to sporting goods stores to buy up World Series championship merchandise. No word yet on an official rally or parade to honor the Cubs, but you know when's coming, Dave.
Now, Jeff, the campaign, of course, continues less than a week before the election. Donald Trump jokes his staff is urging him not to stray from his message.
We've got to be nice and cool, nice and cool. Right, stay on point, Donald, stay on point.
Well, that was in Florida. He'll campaign again there today, and then go to North Carolina, where Hillary Clinton will also rally. She continues to say Trump offends and insults people.
What would it be like to have that person in the most powerful office in the world?
She was in Nevada and also Arizona. This as the FBI continues to investigate new emails found, perhaps related to her private server. A separate investigation is into the Clinton Foundation.
The Clinton Foundation investigation is so expansive, they have interviewed and re-interviewed many people. They describe the evidence that they have as, quote, a lot of it, and there is an avalanche coming every day.
Fox's Brett Baer. 2 American troops have been killed in Afghanistan. 2 others were wounded when they came under fire last night, along with Afghan forces battling the Taliban. They're among the roughly 10,000 U.S. troops still in Afghanistan. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Fog and 54 this morning at 6:02 on AM 560 The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott here with the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. Chicago Cubs win their first World Series title since 1908. Ben Zobrist's go-ahead double in the 10th inning lifted the Cubs to a Game 7 win over the Indians 8-7. Skipper Joe Maddon says it was an amazing series.
It could not have been a more entertaining, difficult series to win. Beyond all that, I want to believe, and I do believe, this is good for our game. You cannot be more entertained than you were over these last 7 games. It's incredible.
Cubs outfielder Ben Zobrist named MVP.
This one about made me pass out. I felt like the way that the series has been up and down, and then Game 7 here, it was just an epic battle.
Crews are cleaning up a horrible mess around Wrigley Field following the World Series victory. Number of cars have been smashed in the Wrigleyville Lakeview neighborhood, bottles thrown, multiple people took down electric poles. State troopers in Ohio say a routine traffic stop has turned up 8 counterfeit tickets for Game 7 of the World Series. State Highway Patrol says the fake tickets were discovered in a car being driven by a a Maryville man, Terry Walls, and Citrone Mitchell of Chicago. They've been charged with felony forgery. They're being held in a county jail near Toledo. Chicago police officer is in federal custody on charges of sex trafficking with a 14-year-old girl. Officer William Whitley was stripped of his police powers and assigned to paid desk duty in September of 2015 because of the probe. He could face life in prison. Cook County judge is indicating those who challenged thousands of Chicago red light and speed camera tickets may have a case. AM 560's David Stewart has details on this developing story.
Judge Kathleen Kennedy certified the lawsuit that calls for voiding 1.5 million tickets as a class action. The plaintiffs claim the city broke its own rules by not sending second notices on the automatic tickets and then unfairly doubled the fines prematurely for those who didn't pay. The Emanuel administration has offered to send those second notices now and then take a second look at those tickets, but the judge said no. If the plaintiffs prevail, the city could be forced to refund $200 million in fines and late fees. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
NBA last night, Boston beat the Bulls 107-100 on the ice tonight. Colorado and the Blackhawks. The news service of TrueCar. Save time and money by downloading TrueCar's mobile app. Configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, and get guaranteed savings. TrueCar users save, on average, over $3,000 off MSRP. Save time, save money. Download the TrueCar app today. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It rained in Cleveland.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play.
In Chicago.
Bryant The Cubs win the World Series.
The drought is over.
It's over, and the Cubs have finally won it all. They're singing, "Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go!"
Congratulations to our world champion, Chicago Cubs.
Go Cubs, go!
This is AM 560, The Answer.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9 to 5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You wanna earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You'd make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
6:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's northwest side, Western Avenue is shut down between the Kennedy Expressway and Diversey after a major crash. The ramp from the outbound Kennedy to Western is also closed, and there are delays from Central to Sayre on the Kennedy with another crash there on the right shoulder. It's 28 minutes downtown to O'Hare, inbound 21. The Edens is fine. The Eisenhower, 33 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound, it's 30. On the Stevenson, 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 90-50 downtown, 80-94 westbound. Slow climb to Calumet Avenue after a stall. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner, you order from in-store kiosk. $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
Patchy morning fog, then some clouds turning into sunshine. Pleasant this afternoon, a high of 64. Mainly clear skies tonight, patchy fog late, low 42. Patchy fog in the morning tomorrow, otherwise mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
Fog and 52 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
This means everything to our city, to our families, memories.
We won the Cubs. We number one. We number one.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So apparently this Cubs World Series thing means a lot to a lot of people.
Kind of a big deal, Dan?
I don't know. That's what I understand. So we'll let you go on the record and for posterity to offer your review of the World Series on our airwaves, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I mean, there are some what I would call legitimate tributes and respectful remembrances of, baseball legends that have passed on to their eternal reward who didn't have a chance to play in a World Series, much less win a World Series title or even see the Cubs do that. And, of course, you immediately think of Ernie Banks and Ron Santo. So I appreciate baseball fans who say, this is for Ernie, this is for Ron Santo, this is for all the Cubs greats that never had this opportunity. I
And
respect those
these
baseball
are
fans.
fans of a failing team for almost more than 100 years. I mean, diehard fans that have waited, who have watched games in the past with their relatives who have passed on. And then, of course, you think of the former players. And, I mean, did you cry at all? Did anybody cry last night as hard as everyone in Wrigley Field? No?
No.
You didn't cry even for the final out of the game?
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series!
No, I was running on the street. I started chanting, let's do best of 9. Best of 9. No, I didn't get any takers.
Well, Wrigley Field was everybody flocked to Wrigley Field. I mean, people from the suburbs, people from Indiana, people from Wisconsin, people drove in from Michigan because everyone wanted to be there.
How many states can
when
you
it
name?
happened? Well, those are the ones that I know that people came from. And they were celebrating all night long and into the early morning hours.
I've been born and raised a diehard Cubs fan. I bleed Cubby blue. It's not a sport. It's not a game. It's a life. It's a lifestyle. Like, this means everything to our city, to our families, memories. Go Cubs!
If that's your life, I suggest you upgrade. But I appreciate the hyperbole in the moment. I'm just having a little fun with her. But yes, I was excited when the Sox won in 2005. I know nobody remembers that, like the Tribune or ESPN or the Washington Post. But there were some of us.
The white who?
Yeah, there was a handful of us who remember that and who were there, and we were excited too. I mean, we didn't make an arse of ourselves. I didn't climb on a live truck outside Comiskey.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, so
but
a lot of people are down there. I went down there with the kids. Sorry, bad mom, I know, but it was part of history. You wanted to see history, so everybody wrapped themselves in W flags, and we walked down there. And
only W flags. That's
yes,
all I wore.
That's all. Yeah, everybody else. We're going streaking. But people jumped on top of Channel 2's live trucks, and I was like, take her down. Take her down.
Yeah.
Let me in here. I'll help out.
Burn, baby, burn.
This thing now. And then somebody jumped on top of the Fox truck, and I thought for sure something was going to get flipped over. Nothing got flipped over. I just got off the phone with Chicago Police Headquarters, and they said a few arrests have been made. They're going to have the total later this morning, but some bottles were thrown at police officers, no injuries. More than a dozen arrests were made, but again, they'll have the complete total. But we saw some takedowns last night. It was better than going to the WWE. I mean, this guy in a man bun, and I don't even think he was a Cub fan. He was just drunk. He ran into a police officer, and they slammed him right on his face. It was awesome. It was better than the game sometimes.
Is there anything more satisfying than seeing a hipster doofus be beaten? No, there really, I can't think of anything offhand. Let me also make this point. One of the best tweets of the night that I saw, other than my own, of course.
Oh, of course you did.
Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. You know, Ben Zobrist wins the MVP award.
Yeah, with his hottie wife.
And then
walking around with
Khaleesi, right? And then he gets a Chevy Camaro.
Right.
In addition to that, and Ann B. Davis's bowling ball tweeted, now Sox fans are really envious of because he got the Camaro. There's somebody who knows his Sox fan demographic. That's very good.
Grow a mullet. But Bill Murray was there.
Oh, yes.
2 nights in a row. Game 6, by the way, he was walking in, and this fan was kind of walking behind him. She's from Northwest Indiana. And she turned around, and he said, here. And he handed her a ticket to the game. And she went to Game 6 and sat next to Bill Murray during the whole game. She said it was the best moment of her life.
He can't find anybody to go with him?
No, her name's Karen Michael, and she was hanging out outside of Progressive Field in Cleveland and wanted to get a ticket when she accidentally ran into him and said hi, and he just turned around and said, here you go, here's your ticket. And he kind of shuttled me into the door, and I thought it was a ticket to get, wasn't a ticket to get in. She thought it was a joke. And she got in, and she was sitting right next to him, third row behind home plate.
Was it Murray with his son at the games at Wrigley?
Yeah, but his son couldn't go because maybe it's a school night, so he couldn't go. But
why are you talking to me? I don't have a school. I don't have a school night.
And you don't have a son.
No, right.
Well, I had a feeling it was going to be 11 innings. It was only 10, but I thought it was going to be 11 innings. I had it in my head this morning, and the hotel room I was in was 2016. That was my hotel room. And they doubled the rate overnight. And I was like, what the hell? And then I thought, I better not give up this room. It's just too good looking.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, numbers.
Stratomatic has nothing on Bill Murray. He knew it would go into extra innings.
Rob on the south side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
No, Dan, this is Ron.
Oh, Ron.
Hi,
Excuse
Ron.
me. Miss
Amy,
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, Amy. I cried all night, still hate the Cubs. This is the worst I've felt since Rahm Emanuel was elected. So look here. I'm done listening to media today. I just had to listen to you all, but to me, still hating, still garbage. Have a good day.
All right, thanks. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ron. Sorry.
No, there was such a great ball club, though. I mean, they entered the 10th inning tied, after the rain delay, I really thought I was going to have a gripper.
Let me tell you something about Ron.
But you know what they did?
Wait. Let me tell you something about Ron first. That's a Sox fan right there. Thank you, Ron, from the South Side. Okay, now you go.
So during the rain delay, they were all gathered in the weight room, and they were pumping each other up. They're just such a good team.
Like Hans and Franz?
Yeah, that'll pump me up. No, they loved it. And here's John Lester, a very gracious John Lester.
Look at this place. I mean, you'd think we're at Wrigley. Man, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's to be a part of this is I don't have words to really tell you how I feel right now about this. I mean, I think it's all surreal, and man, it's a great feeling.
He's a real wordsmith.
It is surreal. Let's try out Chris.
He's like W.B. Yeats listening to John Lester.
Try out. Let's take Chris Bryant for a spin, shall we?
I've never won an award as a team. I've always been able to do it individually, but
it's all about you, isn't it?
This trumps everything. I mean, I'm out here crying, man. I'm so happy. I mean, I can't even really put into words how this feels.
He wasn't crying. He said he was crying. He wasn't crying.
You don't think he was crying?
Let's see a tear. Come on. Come on, Brian. Let's see a tear.
Yeah, come on.
I don't see tears.
We won the Cubs. We number one. LeBron James. Today, LeBron James. They thought we won.
I was watching this game for you.
It was outstanding. It was amazing. I never seen nothing greater. The Cubs won. I thought I would never see this. Oh, my God.
That was great. It was Ryan Sandberg, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who was more emotional? Who cared more? Hey, you know what? I remember something. Yesterday you told me that if the Cubs win, I could have Ronnie Woo Woo call in.
You can. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to get the woo on, and it'll go, Dan, woo, Proft, woo.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. It keeps getting better.
The degradations continue. Sharon in Itasca.
Hey, guys, what you have to do is give a good chiding to a fellow talk show host, Hugh Hewitt, on the WIND dial. He's a Cleveland Indians fan, and he claimed that they were going to wipe up the pavement with the Cubbies, and the Cubbies did it.
Yeah, thanks.
Hugh. He also likes Ohio State.
Some other Salem radio talk show host predicted the Indians would win in 6, too. I'm not mentioning names, but I don't know if I'm in a position to chide Hugh Hewitt. Neither are you.
Oh, I always chide.
He's the pantheon of talk show hosts.
I don't care. Every time I see him, I like, Ohio State stinks. I whispered that in his ear last time I saw him. Yeah, it really got to him. What's getting to a lot of police officers that I know, all their days off were canceled yesterday because of this epic game, this history-making game.
Yeah, but they got to beat up hipsters.
I know.
So that's fair.
The best part of the job. But Mayor Emanuel, he wasn't back with the troops. He was in Cleveland, sitting in the pretty people seats right behind home plate.
Every time you just thought they were putting away, this is a great World Series, Matt. Coming back 3-1 to put all those games together every time, the pitching, the defense, the offense, the home runs, everybody played. It's unbelievable. And to see the joy, I mean, look at this. This isn't this is in Cleveland. Look how many Chicago fans.
It was embarrassing, though, for Tiny Dancer when an usher came up and said, "Little boy, are you lost? I'll help you find your dad.
Do you want some cotton candy?" No, and then Rob Algus, good friend, love Rob Algus from ABC7 over there.
Why don't you marry him if you love him?
Yeah,
so
well,
much?
I tried. He's taken.
I saw you in the elevator, and I said they're up 6-3. You cautioned it's not over yet, and it wasn't. No, it's not over. But the amazing thing, their whole season is about the comeback kid. What's it going to be like in Chicago, Mayor? Can I ask, do we have a plan yet for a parade? Let me say this. You can't plan for 108 years of waiting.
Ladies, please, ladies.
He gaggled like Hillary Clinton.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
No, Chicago. Tiny Dancer is not an embarrassment. Listen to that. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
he was flailing his hands too. I have to tell you about this story about this one Cub fan who bought a ticket and never made it to the game. But first, here's your forecast. Patchy fog this morning, otherwise some clouds. Then sunshine by this afternoon, a high of 65 degrees. And tomorrow, mostly sunny. Some morning fog, no big deal, and a high of 58 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's someone who could speak English. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Try, Amy. Thanks. On Chicago's northwest side, a major crash has Western Avenue closed between the Kennedy Expressway and Diversey. Buses are being rerouted, and the ramp from the outbound Kennedy to Western is also closed. On the inbound Kennedy, delays are coming out of the River Road toll to Sayre and then central to Lawrence. 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33. On the Eisenhower, looking at 35 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 32, Stevenson 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound okay. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 24 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford 18. Northbound Tri-State heavy, Harlem to 87th and Archer to Ogden. Indiana Toll Road heavy, eastbound from 20 to around the Gary Airport. And westbound it's slow, approaching the Portage exit. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The easiest decision you'll make all week is to shop Kohl's this weekend, because Kohl's will give you tax break savings with an extra 10% off and an extra $10 off your purchase of $25 or more. Everyone gets Kohl's cash too. Plus, shop late Friday or early Saturday and take an extra 15% off jeans for the family, already on sale. Stack the savings and save even more this weekend at Kohl's. Select styles, offer valid 11/4 through 11/6. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
I have to get to sleep.
Tom had a stressful day, and now he can't shut down at bedtime.
Need sleep.
To fall asleep fast, millions of people turn to Unisom sleep gels. They're non-habit forming and quickly help you sleep soundly so you wake recharged. Tom? Unisom sleep gels. A stressful day deserves a restful night. Use as directed. Active ingredient diphenhydramine hydrochloride.
What's your caliber? You've heard about Black Rhino holsters for concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting. When you see how comfortable and safe they are, you'll want one for all of your firearms. They're handcrafted in Illinois by veterans using 100% virgin Kydex and American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest affordable holster. With a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment. We hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That's 847-783-6499 or visit blackrhinoconcealment.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
You know who I'm going to miss?
The Rolling Stones?
No, Jack Franks.
Yeah, he served McHenry County for a long time. Good guy.
Yeah, but this new guy running, Steve Reich, he's a great guy too.
Really?
We won't miss a beat with Reich. He knows how to get lower property taxes. That's his field.
Yeah?
And Reich has ideas to grow the economy up here.
You really like Reich.
So did the Northwest Herald and the Chicago Tribune.
Good enough for me. I like Reich too.
I'm Steve Reich, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by the House Republican Organization.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
You don't have to go underwater anymore. You don't need to go down in that hole with your portfolio and dig yourself out. You can actually put a floor so you never go down ever again and get into a strategy where you just continue to make growth. So not only that your principal is protected, but whatever gains you make, those are protected as well.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The
Answer. I just want you to know I have called and left a message with Ronnie Woo Woo this morning.
Great. Good.
And we have to talk later about that man who he bought a $4,000 ticket to go to the game last night and never made it.
We'll get it all then.
Okay. I know it's a 4-hour show.
Get through Ronnie Woo Woo's people to Ronnie Woo Woo. See if we can get him on.
I called his agent, himself.
Other related news in the outside world with Western civilization hanging in the balance just a few days from now, to the extent that the Earth does not collapse in upon itself after last night. Anthony Weiner pulled a Woods.
Oh. Pulled a Woods?
Woods, plural. He checked himself into a sex addiction rehab clinic.
The
sex
Tiger
addiction.
Woods. Yeah.
Sex addiction. He's a sex addict. That's his problem. Don't you know?
I said that a long time ago that he has an addiction.
No, his addiction is to scumbaggery. It is not.
I don't know if scumbaggery is a condition.
No, it's just his condition is he is a predator ghoul, and like the celebs do when they've acted badly, they pretend that bad behavior is some kind of illness for which they need a 12-step program and to be cured. I don't buy this for a second. I know we've had this discussion before. I don't buy this for a second. I don't buy it with David Duchovny. I don't buy it with Tiger Woods, and I don't buy it with a guy who's looking at charges for being a pedophile and going to federal prison to use this as some kind of condition. And I think this is a legal ploy, not any serious effort to get right with the world.
Because if he wanted to get right with the world, he would have done it before Clinton's emails were found on one of his laptops.
By the time they did the documentary during his run for mayor and after he had done his mea culpa and tried to piece back together his life and all of these other charades that Weiner has run on us. But I just love this development that after his, apparently his accidentally downloading Uma's emails on the shared computer triggered the reopening of this investigation and the loss of the presidency for Hillary Clinton. That's how it's going to be characterized when she loses on Tuesday. Then he checks himself into a rehab clinic because he's a sex addict. He's sick, don't you know? And we need to have empathy for him. No empathy coming here.
Well, I mean, also too, he is being under investigation for contacting and sending illicit photos to a 15-year-old girl.
Well, that's my point.
That might be.
This is a legal ploy. This isn't contrition. It's not even contrition. He's not even feigning contrition. I shouldn't even go there. This isn't an illness. This isn't a condition. He's except to the extent that being a predator is a condition, but it's not an illness that obviates responsibility for your action.
Well, he's going to a facility that, obviously there's no electronic devices allowed, and they separate men from women at the clinic, and they treat them for different addictions. I've been to a computer, so they call it a computer addiction clinic out in Peoria, believe it or not, online addictions, and I've been to a sex addiction clinic before too.
No, I understand.
And not as a participant, but it's really a condition. They can't.
No.
It's a disease.
No, it's not. 312-642-5600 Turnkey.pro answer line 646-36DA Turnkey.pro text line on the sex addiction thing.
There's drug addicts. There's sex addicts.
There's
buy this? Alcoholics.
Does anybody other than Amy and Anthony Weiner and Tiger Woods and David Duchovny buy this sex addiction nonsense? And every bad behavior is an illness, not a choice. It's not a moral failing. It's not reflective of one's character.
But if you can't control
it's outside forces.
But if you can't control
a chemical
it, isn't
imbalance.
It an addiction?
No. Well, you can't.
He's addicted to cyber sex.
He's looking to obviate responsibility for criminal activity.
He's looking to fill a void, and he's addicted to trying to fill this void by women throwing themselves at him, texting him back saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful, and I wish I could be with you. You're so hot."
That's what you really think?
I think he's trying to fill a void. He's lonely.
Do you also
man ain't got no job?
Do you also think he's really hot?
No, I don't think he's Anthony Weiner. This is I'm sorry. This just in. This is not hot. There's nothing hot about this. Okay.
Why are you circling a picture of me when you're saying that?
This is not a good-looking man.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hi, you can't see me because of radio, and I can't see you because I'm totally blind. My blindness doesn't hold me back, but I fight to stay awake during the day because I'm not sleeping through the night. Often I struggle to concentrate and just keep up. Sound familiar? You're not alone. But this is not a sleep disorder. It's actually non-24. Learn about the link between total blindness and your symptoms. Visit learnmorenon24.com or call 855-856-2424.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
Are you worried how the election, global events, and the current economy might affect your retirement? Listen to Grow My Retirement, Saturdays at 2 with Bill Geiger, Chicago's retirement planning advisor. Bill helps you translate complex retirement issues into easy-to-understand steps to help you create a retirement income you can't outlive.
The important thing of this show is not when the next downturn is coming, but to have your portfolio and your retirement plan ready for it.
Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger, Saturday at 2 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
AM 560. The
Answer. Text from George in Elk Grove Village. Hey, Cubs fans, Lee Elia still hates you.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to the mom of a Navy machinist going to prison for breaking the law with regard to classified information about the Hillary double standard. That's at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to victorious Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have fog and 51 degrees. Cub fans finally know what it's like to be a White Sox fan. A world champion. It's the end of a 100-year drought for fans of the Chicago Cubs. They've won a World Series, beating the Indians last night 8-7 and 10, and they were out in droves in Wrigleyville last night, celebrating in the streets. Cleveland trying to win its first crown since 1948, but they stumbled badly, losing the last two at home. Commander of U.S. Forces Afghanistan says today's loss of 2 U.S. service members is heartbreaking. NATO says 2 soldiers were killed while battling Taliban insurgents alongside local troops. It's a blow for Britain's government today. The High Court there says the Prime Minister cannot trigger the UK's exit from the European Union without some approval from Parliament. The government says it'll appeal today's ruling to the British Supreme Court. A train crash has killed 17 in the Pakistani southern port city of Karachi. Another 50 people are critically hurt. The man accused of murdering 2 Iowa police officers, reportedly no stranger to local police. Scott Green gave himself up after allegedly shooting 2 officers in their patrol cars Wednesday. Last month, a man believed to be Green filmed a YouTube video of him arguing with police after being kicked out of a local football game while carrying a Confederate flag. Chicago police officer is in federal custody on charges of sex trafficking with a 14-year-old girl. William Whitley was stripped of police powers back in September of 2015 after being tied to that probe. NBA last night, Celtics over the Bulls 107-100. The news a service of TrueCar. Save time and money by downloading TrueCar's mobile app. Configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, and get guaranteed savings. TrueCar users save, on average, over $3,000 off MSRP. Save time, save money. Download the TrueCar app today. 6:33, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you realize there's collusion everywhere when it involves the Clintons?
The Sean Hannity Show.
That's the word. You got collusion, the Clinton campaign and the Justice Department. You've got collusion, Clinton campaign and the White House. Because why? Oh, maybe we should hold back these emails between Obama and Clinton because Obama, we got to clean up his mess. Don't you get sick of being lied to?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
If you've ever felt like you had to choose between getting new blinds or holding on to your life savings, those fears end now, thanks to SelectBlinds.com. Select Blinds won't gouge you like those big, greedy blind corporations. Our loyal customers seem to agree. Just check the over 170,000 five-star reviews on our site. With Select Blinds, do-it-yourself doesn't have to mean do it alone. In fact, if you can hang a picture, you can hang your own blinds. And for added peace of mind, our specialists will walk you through how to measure, choose, and install your new window coverings. Choose from a vast selection of high-quality custom blinds, shades, and drapes. SelectBlinds.com really is the simple and smart way to get blinds. They've served over 1 million happy customers. Why not be one of them? Shop today at SelectBlinds.com. Mention this show at checkout and get sample swatches of the room-darkening blinds or shades of your choice absolutely free. SelectBlinds.com. SelectBlinds.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dan Patlak, your taxpayer advocate, and Citizens for Dan Patlak paid for this ad.
Dan Patlak is gaining support. The Daily Herald says he speaks with youthful energy and passion about the agency's mission of assuring fairness to all. Patlak approaches the job not so much like a politician, but as a commissioner whose responsibility is to rule the way the evidence and numbers tell him to rule. The Chicago Tribune says Patlak is smart and diligent, and he tries to keep the system fair. The Sun-Times says Patlak has the better professional credentials. Dan Patlak promised and delivered improvements at our Board of Tax Review. Online appeals, online evidence submission, over 200 assessment appeal seminars to educate taxpayers about the appeal process, and increasing transparency with all decisions available on the Board of Review website.
I appreciate the editorials, but the most important endorsement is yours on Election Day. With your vote on November 8th, I will fight unfair assessments and keep the Board of Review responsive to regular folks. I'm Dan Patlak. It is my privilege to serve you. Thank you.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's north side, Western Avenue remains closed between the Kennedy Expressway and Diversey due to a major crash. The ramp from the outbound Kennedy to Western is closed as well. On that outbound Kennedy, the delays start before Diversey. We're looking at a travel time of 40 minutes downtown to O'Hare, inbound 34. Eden's 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Eisenhower, 39 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, at the 111th to 87th, from the Stevenson to 47th, then from the Bensonville Bridge to Irving Park. Traffic, service of Liberty Mutual. From weather to traffic and everything in between, you have enough things to worry about every day. Insurance shouldn't be one of them. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Patchy fog this morning, otherwise clouds, then some sunshine, high 65. Some dense fog overnight, low 43. Currently, we have 51 at O'Hare, and your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the M.J. Miller & Company Holiday Catalog. Your perfect gift this Christmas is at M.J. Miller Jewelers in downtown Barrington.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Taking your calls and texts all morning in celebration of the Cubs and denigration of me for predicting the Indians in 6. Text from a 630. Dan was wrong. Swallow Hard Proft was going to send this first thing, but overslept. Also, let's see, what was the other one about Kasich? Oh, text from 708. Kasich voting for McCain. Curse the Indians. Possibly. Yeah. But there are other matters to tend to as well, like, the national election on Tuesday and the investigation of Hillary Clinton that is running concurrent with the last several days of the election cycle. Bret Baier reporting last night that according to multiple sources, they are moving, is the FBI, towards an indictment. Towards an indictment. And it's, at this point, related primarily to an investigation into pay-to-play at the Clinton Foundation. That does not preclude charges related to emails as they review the Carlos Danger, Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Danger laptop and the new emails they found on that laptop. And Bret Baier reported also, according to his sources, they did. But importantly, Baier using the phrase moving toward an indictment.
And these sources said, yes, the investigations will continue. There's a lot of evidence, and barring some obstruction in some way, they believe they'll continue to likely an indictment.
Wow. Likely an indictment.
And I trust Bret Baier.
Yeah, I mean,
do, because he always has strong sources.
This isn't somebody who, kind of offers conjecture without foundation.
Yeah, he never does that. He doesn't.
He doesn't. So it's speaking of the other piece of this, the Clinton Foundation piece, but the classified information piece. There's been a lot of discussion over the last couple of weeks about two cases in particular in the context of the Hillary standard that the FBI created, at least as of July, that may be moved, but at least as of July, the intent standard. Well, 4-star Marine General James Cartwright pled out to charges related to confirming classified information to a reporter. He is facing criminal penalties, pled guilty. And then there's the case of Christian Saucier, who is a U.S. Navy machinist who was convicted of mishandling classified information. Is going to serve prison time, a year in prison, for taking photos of classified parts of a nuclear submarine, the USS Alexandria, back in 2009. And the question is, do we have different sets of laws for different people? For Christian Saucier and for General Cartwright, one set of laws regarding classified information and another set for Hillary Clinton. To help us on that question, we're pleased to be joined by Kathleen Saucier, who is the mother of Christian Saucier. Kathleen, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak out against the double standard. I just want to say one thing. So you mentioned that General Cartwright pled guilty, which is not actually a conviction. He pled to the guilty plea, which is the exact same thing that happened to my son. We didn't actually go to trial.
Okay, pled out. Okay.
Yep, he did. And, after years and financial struggles and honestly, threats and intimidation by the FBI and the Department of Justice, which I'm pretty sure probably General Cartwright had as well, because their plan was to go for getting 10 years for my son in prison. And so after much conversation back and forth, we all came to the conclusion that we'd probably have a better possibility of him having less than 10 years if he took the plea agreement.
Well, just the intent standard, right, that Comey laid out in recommending against referring charges, deciding not to refer charges against Hillary Clinton back in July. So tell us what your son did and what his intent was.
Sure. So one thing I want to clarify is under that particular guideline for just that one, mishandling classified information, there is no intent required.
Correct.
And that's clear in the law.
Right.
So when my son was 22 years old in 2009, he was stationed aboard a submarine, and he and many others at that time, there was no cell phone ban. They were taking photos of areas that they probably shouldn't have been taking photos. Well, we know they shouldn't have been taking photos of. And two of the young men, in fact, at that time, same exact time period, the Navy themselves discovered they had cell phone pictures, and they reprimanded them by reducing them a rank and fining them $560. Unfortunately, my son's phone was discovered outside of the Navy's, purview, and the FBI and the Department of Justice became involved. And at that point, it became a nightmare. And they pretty aggressively, I can say most aggressively, went after my son and our family, and came to the point where we were this past year where we were set to go to trial. And so at 22, he took 6 photos. They were on an insecure device. And just as Hillary Clinton having emails on an insecure device, where it stops is that the judge clearly stated during my son's sentencing hearing that there was no evidence whatsoever that he ever shared them and no evidence whatsoever that he had any intention to harm our country or to harm anyone else, that they were merely for him keepsakes to share with his family and to have to say, this is what I did when I was, 22 years old. And that's where the difference is, because obviously emails are transmitted. That's why we have them, So her emails have been transmitted over and over. That, to me, is where it's so, so clear about the double standard. How can my son, he's accepted responsibility. He knows that what he did was wrong. He had 6 photos on his cell phone, insecure device, classified photos, which, by the way, were the lowest level of classification in the classification rating system, whereas I believe, from what I've read, that Hillary Clinton had emails on there that were classified at very high levels of classification as well.
So you said they made your life very difficult. What exactly did they do to you and your son?
Well, obviously the interrogation, those types of things. I can tell you that I was a community servant. I worked in the federal government. I've worked in community service for 25 years in the federal government for the past 8 years, and they came to my job. They came to my home without a warrant. They actually came to my home with guns pointed at me, asking to enter my home. And when I asked for clarification, did they have a warrant? And they stated no. And I told them that they would not enter my home. And I also asked if they didn't have a warrant that they could leave my property and not have guns pointed at me. So the standard is different there. I'm an average American person with no criminal background whatsoever. As I said, I was a federal employee at the time with excellent standing in my federal record. Basically, what I'm saying the double standard is they could have asked me to come down to the FBI federal building and speak to them versus coming to my home with guns pointed at me, which I do not believe they did to Hillary Clinton or any of her staff. So there's a double standard, with regards to how we're treated. In addition, I came to the point where I had to resign my position in my federal government job. At the time, I was devastated because that was the way that I was providing support for myself as well as for my son and his family financially through this legal battle. We've paid over $100,000 in the last 2 years in legal fees. So I lost my job. At the time, as I said, I was devastated. I have a strong faith in God. And what I see now, hindsight, is that I would not have been able to speak out on the news, talk on your radio show, talk on Fox, talk on Sean Hannity, if I had been still a federal employee. Under the Hatch Act, we're not allowed to influence an election. So I recognize in God's grace I'm able to do what I'm doing, and I believe that he will take care of me and our family.
Well, yeah, you would have got a strongly worded letter from Senator Harry Reid, no doubt, if you were still a federal employee. You point out, you mentioned the double standards, and they abound. The double standards you're pointing out, and I just want to put an exclamation point on them, because something else Bret Baier reported last night on Fox, in addition to saying the multiple sources he has are saying the case is moving toward a likely indictment, he also reported FBI sources say with 99% accuracy that Hillary Clinton's server had been hacked by at least 5 foreign intelligence agencies and that information had been taken from it. So if that turns out to be true, we've got the top foreign policy official in the United States government violating the law, exposing national secrets. Whether her intent, as you point out correctly, is irrelevant. Your son taking pictures for posterity, what I did when I served in the Navy, also, kind of no intent, if we're going to apply the intent standard, and no evidence that those photos were hacked out of his cell phone, because who would even be looking at no disrespect, but a low-level 22-year-old sailor. And then compare and then how you were treated in addition to the penalties your son has now facing and what is happening with Hillary Clinton, as well as her phalanx of aides and lawyers that surround her. It is really jarring. I mean, it's unfortunate that your family, your son, has to be used as the counterexample of the rule of law, but that's really what I see happening here.
Right. And I want to express, that was 22 years old. That was 7 years ago. He's 30 now. He's married to a beautiful woman who has stood by him through this. And he has a beautiful 1-year-old daughter that he's in prison and they're away from him. And, we've started a Facebook page, American Patriots Against Double Standards, because what I've come to realize in a very short time is I'm very blessed because I have so many people that support me, but so many people are alone in this, and there is double standards. You said this is the example that's happening with my family. There are people that are so alone, and my goal and the goal of all of the volunteers on our page, and I want to tell you about the volunteers just quick. I know we don't have a lot of time, but 2 of those volunteers served with my son aboard that submarine, and they feel so strongly that this is a double standard, that what happened was wrong because they saw people taking photos at the same time. They know this shouldn't have happened to Chris, their shipmate, their brother, and they're fighting, and they're posting on that page. So please go to that page and see their posts. And we talk clearly about the double standard. We ask people to send us their messages about what's happening to them. We're just getting through. We just have only been up for about a little over a week and a half, and we've got over 13,000 followers so far, and I've had probably 10 messages, stories from people of similar double standards, and we are going to help and fight for them as well, because it's not just about Chris, it's about, and my family, it's about every average American patriot in the United States of America. We need to stand up, and we need to take care of each other because it's happening. I never would have believed it. I was a strong federal employee. I took my job seriously as a public servant, and I felt I was making a difference in the world, and I felt so many others were as well. I would never have believed this could happen to my family.
And just to be clear, too, I mean, this is really a call to reinstitute the rule of law, equal justice before the law.
Correct. And we're not asked, we all, and it says it on that page, and both of the guys, all of us when we post, we're not saying Chris didn't do it because Chris admitted he did it.
Right.
He's accepted responsibility. I want to tell you, the best post I've had so far was from a teacher who sent me a message and said, can my children write a letter to your son in prison? And I had to say, no, please send them to me because of the way that happens. But she said, I teach character education in my class. And she said, your son is a perfect example of character because sometimes we make a mistake and we have to stand up and accept the responsibility. It's the right thing to do. And sometimes when we do that, the consequences are so severe, but we must do it. She said, your son is a clear example of integrity, making a choice and choosing to do the right thing and accept responsibility. In both initial debates, Hillary Clinton said, I made a mistake. Oh, well, she didn't say, oh, well, but it felt like to me, she said, oh, well, let's just move on. It's not a big deal. She made a mistake. Yes, she made a mistake. The judge said in my son's sentencing, this was a dangerous mistake. Mishandling classified information is a dangerous mistake. Because of what Hillary Clinton has done and her staff, people have died. People in Benghazi died. Other people, who knows how many other people have been impacted? Who knows what the level, as you said, what's coming out about the leaks that have happened and people that hacked in? Who knows how many deaths of our servicemen and women and even our public servants have happened because of what she has done, her negligence.
Well, certainly, Kathleen, our hearts go out to you and your son. And again, that website, our Facebook page is American Patriots Against Double Standards.
She is Kathleen Saucier. She's the mom of Christian Saucier. Kathleen, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. Keep the faith, and good luck to you and your son and your family.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Fed moving closer to an interest rate hike, but not this month. Thanksgiving air travel will be tight. Regulators targeting Honda on airbag problems. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Federal Reserve officials say they need additional evidence that the economy has improved enough before they hike interest rates. The Fed agrees the case for an increase has improved, but there will be no interest rate hike until at least next month. Major airlines say about 27 million people will be flying over the 12-day Thanksgiving holiday period that begins November 18th, a 2.5% increase over last year. Despite longer lines, airline execs say they can handle the traffic. The government's top auto safety regulator says Honda has to do more to resolve 300,000 Honda cars with dangerous Takata airbags. Repairs have been proceeding, but the Highway Traffic Safety Administration says many more need to be repaired. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio. I believe not only in protecting your retirement and making the growth going forward, but also having a tax-efficient retirement as well, because you want your retirement portfolios to generate an income stream that will last for your life, for your spouse's life, and if you have kids, that will pass on to the next generation as well. Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome to Staples. Staples guy, I need to get a grip on my company's spending.
Staples has low prices every day.
So I won't overspend?
Nope. With our price match guarantee, you can always get the lowest price on everything for your office.
Everything?
Everything.
The lowest prices on ink, paper, coffee, ink, folders, notepads, ink, sticky notes, ink, trash pads, ink, binders, and ink?
Need some ink?
A little bit, yeah.
Trust Staples for low prices every day. Staples. Make more happen.
Price match good at checkout for items from retailers operating online in retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. See store at staples.com for details.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Roy Spencer and I came up with an amazing offer. If you purchase a home within Permaseal service area and a member of Team Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage secures you a mortgage to purchase the home, we'll cover the cost of the sewer inspection when the loan closes. Roy and I want to make sure you're purchasing a home without faulty or cracked sewer lines, which is expensive to repair. According to Roy, we're the only lender offering this outstanding service. If you're purchasing a home and want to take advantage of this outstanding opportunity, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so drive north to avoid Cook County taxes. You know, for half a century, Schrank Smoke & Gun has been the firearm store generations of customers trust, and they maintain that family atmosphere. Schrank's has over 700 firearms in stock, including an excellent selection of AR rifles to fit any budget, including Colt, LWRC, Ruger, FN, Smith & Wesson, and civilian force arms that are made in Illinois. With Lake County's largest selection, there's new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and an array of ammo. Even collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. From a first firearm and a Ford card or adding to your collection, now is the perfect time to shop Schrank's. And if you love cigars, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors. So visit smoke.gun.org or call 847-662-4034. 847-662-4034. Call them for directions. Schrank's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line.
I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender, member FDIC.
A dense fog advisory up this morning. Drive with care. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They got a hero's welcome. The Cubs cheered, returning to Chicago a short while ago. Long-suffering fans loving it as the World Series trophy was held high hours after a dramatic Game 7 in Cleveland.
I can't even tell you what it's like. It's just unbelievable.
The Indians lost to the Cubs 8-7 in 10 innings. Chicago had an early lead, but the Indians fought back, and then the Cubs scored 2 to ultimately win it in the 10th inning. It is the first World Series championship for the Cubs in 108 years. The commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan is calling this heartbreaking. 2 American troops killed last night. Fox's Jessica Gallagher is live in our Middle East bureau.
Dave, 2 U.S. service members were killed and 2 others wounded while embedded with Afghan troops. The Afghan forces came under fire when they were trying to clear a Taliban position in Kunduz. 26 civilians were also killed. There's been an uptick in attacks by the Taliban and other insurgents since withdrawal of U.S. combat troops from Afghanistan at the end of 2014. Dave.
Jessica, 5 days before the election, a CBS New York Times poll just out gives Hillary Clinton a 3-point lead over Donald Trump. Other tracking polls have the race even closer.
Convince everybody you can talk to get out and vote.
Clinton was in Nevada last night, also rallied in Arizona. Today it's off to North Carolina. Donald Trump will go there, too, after another rally in Florida where he joked his staff keeps telling him to stay on point.
No sidetracks, Donald. Nice and easy. Nice. Because I've been watching Hillary the last few days. She's totally unhinged. We don't want any of that.
The Republican will hold another rally in Florida before going off to North Carolina. Now, the Trump campaign is condemning the burning of a church in Greenville, Mississippi that has mostly black parishioners. Someone spray-painted "Vote Trump" on the charred building. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Fog and 51 degrees. Winds out of the north at 6 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cubs players arrived about 30 minutes ago after winning the World Series in Cleveland back home to Wrigley. Throngs were on hand as the team's buses pulled up. First baseman Anthony Rizzo stepped off that bus holding the Commissioner's Trophy after last night's 8-7 win. Cubs winning their first world title since 1908. Ben Zobrist, the hero, with a go-ahead double in the 10th inning. Erupting with joy, Cub fan Ben Weinberg says he's waited since he started following the team in 1949.
It's way overdue, quite frankly.
Cubs outfielder Zobrist, MVP of the World Series after supplying that tie-breaking double in the 10th inning of Game 7. State troopers in Ohio say a routine traffic stop turned up many counterfeit tickets for Game 7 of the World Series. State Highway Patrol says the fake tickets were discovered in a car driven by an Indiana man. Terry Walls of Maryville and Citron Mitchell of Chicago have been charged with felony forgery. They're being held in the county lockup near Toledo. Chicago police officer is in federal custody on charges of sex trafficking a 14-year-old girl. William Whitley was named in a criminal complaint unsealed Wednesday. It includes charges of production of child pornography. Whitley is 60, a 26-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department. He was actually stripped of his police powers and assigned to desk duty in September of 2015. State Board of Elections records show 12% of Illinois' record 8 million registered voters have cast ballots ahead of the presidential election. That total includes those who voted in person, by mail, or used grace period registration, which lets people register and vote simultaneously. Chicago sports. NBA last night, Boston over the Bulls, 107-100 on the ice tonight, Colorado and the Blackhawks. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It rained in Cleveland.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play.
In Chicago.
Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
The drought is over.
It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all.
They're singing, Go Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go.
Congratulations to our world champion, Chicago Cubs.
Go Cubs, go.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you're probably driving right now. Sitting comfortably behind the wheel with a tasty caffeinated beverage in your cup holder. Well, if you were driving with Uber, you could be earning money right now too. That's because Uber is the ultimate side hustle. Extra cash whenever you want. Earning you can turn on and off, just like your car. This isn't just another job, it's a totally flexible way to earn. So go ahead, get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Our time is 7:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's north side, Western Avenue is closed between the Kennedy Expressway to Diversey. North of there, due to a major crash and ongoing investigation, the exit from the Kennedy to Western is closed. You can get off at Fullerton. Eden's inbound delay started Devon. 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 43 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 50. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 42. The Stevenson is 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 46 from the Tri-State, outbound 37 to 355. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow from past Cicero to 87th. 75th to Ogden, and from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Other tollways are lighter than normal. Northbound Veterans Memorial, a little heavy approaching Lake Street. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here is our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
Patchy morning fog, some clouds, then sunshine. Pleasant this afternoon, a high of 64. Mainly clear skies for tonight, patchy fog late, low 42. Patchy fog in the morning tomorrow, otherwise mostly sunny skies with a high of 58. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
51, dense fog at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1 Hour, together with Mike Rowe, encouraging you to choose licensed technicians to service your home. Call 1 Hour today, 855-1-HOUR.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
This means everything to our city, to our families, memories.
We won the Cubs. We number one. We number one.
Flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode. We are at DEFCON 1. DEFCON 1.
So, in the soft limestone of Missouri, we've been preparing a network of immense caves, and we can put 1 million people in them. And that 1 million people can survive there underground for 2 years until the air clears and the dust settles.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So,
Yeah. So, your favorite moment from last night's World Series victory? 8-7 final in a wild 10-inning game, huh?
my favorite moment was Ben Zobrist getting the Camaro because I'm a Sox fan.
Yeah, he's going to get a mullet next. Maybe a permed mullet
So,
to look more like a Sox fan.
a friend texted me, well, actually before Rajah Davis's game-tying home run in the 8th,
Mhm.
said, are you going to be okay? And I texted back, no one is, because end of days if this comes to pass. But I've also said, and I'll repeat for those who weren't listening in the 5 o'clock hour, and shame on you.
Yes.
From this never Cubs
Yes.
Sox fan, congratulations to the Cubs and Cubs fans. The best team won.
Thank you. My favorite moment, since I'm old, and you probably would appreciate this too, is when David Ross hit the solo home run
Yeah.
in the 6th inning, making him the oldest player in league history to hit a home run during a World Series game.
And then David Ross asked, am I in heaven? And Joe Jackson said, no, you're in Cleveland.
Oh, but the crowd.
Dad? You want to have a catch?
And it was David Ross's inability to catch in the bottom of the inning prior
Yeah,
that
was
tightened
a-
up the game,
that
so he
was
got
a
to run
little-
back.
Yeah, that was a little thing. But next year finally arrives. Next year's here. Fans, it's indescribable. People flocking to places like Merchant Station.
It's great ambient noise.
Every bar had, well, it was just sheer chaos. I mean,
Yeah.
every single bar had a line out of it at
Yeah.
about 6 o'clock last night. It's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. When they won, people flooding the streets, crowding the streets, and just cheering and going cray-cray.
We won the Cup. We number one. We number one. LeBron James. Two-time LeBron James. They thought we won. How was watching this game for you? It was outstanding. It was amazing. I never seen nothing greater. The Cubs won. I thought I would never see this. Oh, my God.
It was nice to hear from Andre Dawson again. I hadn't heard from him in years.
Stop it.
And again, I'll admit,
Yeah.
I had Indians in 6. It cost me $100.
Yes, thank you. And the Blaine girls volleyball team thanks you.
Well, don't thank me.
Because we needed some volleyballs because we had practice outside yesterday because we have some problems with our gym. And our volleyballs that we had left from last season were all damaged. So that will go to 6 new volleyballs.
Don't thank me, thank Ben Zobrist. But I will admit, because I try to be self-aware, that once every 108 years I'm wrong about the Cubs.
It only took a century plus.
All right, we got to get some Trump action in here. We got to remind ourselves we've got an election coming up in a few days. We
And
gotta,
this one could go in extra innings, too. I mean, we could go to bed Tuesday night not knowing who our next president's going to be.
Well, yeah, we got to live in the present and look to the future, and the future is Tuesday. And then maybe there's no future after that. I don't
Oh, my
know.
gosh. I'll tweet like you've been tweeting. The end of the world is here.
And get your affairs in order. So here's how the race has changed just since Friday. Lead story in The Hill right now, thehill.com, kind of a Beltway outlet. Clinton seeks to avoid Michigan upset. That was not a conversation. Michigan was not a state anybody was talking about a week or 10 days ago with respect to Trump's path to victory, with respect to target states that were in play, and they are now. I said earlier in the show, I'm not ready to use the term free fall yet with respect to Clinton, but all of the trend lines in the battleground states and generally are moving in Donald Trump's direction, and they're moving fairly quickly. Can she staunch the bleeding? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not with stories like Bret Baier's story yesterday suggesting from 2 confirmed sources that they are moving forward with their investigation to a likely indictment with respect to pay to play in the Clinton Foundation, even as they're also investigating, reviewing, doing the email review of the Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Danger email, and other things that Baier confirmed too. That Hillary's, this is again FBI sources, Bret Baier reporting, 99% accuracy. They say Hillary Clinton's server had been hacked by at least 5 foreign intelligence agencies. Information had been taken. They said agents have found emails, Bear reporting again. Agents have found emails believed to originate on a Hillary Clinton secret server on Weiner's laptop. They say the emails are not dupes and could potentially be classified in nature. The computers that were going to be destroyed as part of a partial immunity deal with Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson, 2 attorney aides of Hillary Clinton, have not been destroyed. They're sitting in the FBI field office in D.C. And investigators are planning to interview several people they've already interviewed twice for a third time. The Clinton Foundation is far more expansive than anybody has reported so far and has been going on for more than a year. This is Brett Baer reporting, according to 2 inside sources that he is basing his reporting on.
And that's what I like about him, because there's attribution. It's not just one source, it's 2 solid sources. And he wouldn't be doing this, putting, literally your career on the line to come forward with this if it wasn't legitimate.
And this is in the face of President Obama moving from his neutral position on Jim Comey to a less than neutral position. It's subtle, but not so subtle. Listen to Obama, an interview that surfaced yesterday, talking about Comey and the descriptions he uses without mentioning Comey's name.
I do think that there is a norm that, when there are investigations, we don't operate on innuendo. We don't operate on incomplete information. We don't operate on leaks. We operate based on concrete decisions that are made. When this was investigated thoroughly the last time, the conclusion of the FBI, the conclusion of the Justice Department, the conclusion of repeated congressional investigations was that she had made some mistakes, but that there wasn't anything there that was prosecutable.
Hey, Counselor President, since you pretend to be a constitutional law prof, when new evidence is presented, do you examine the new evidence or do you ignore it as part of an investigation? Are you willing to reopen the investigation if new evidence is presented? That would have been a nice follow-up. Of course, no follow-ups like that were forthcoming. But that's Obama essentially suggesting that Comey's decision on Friday is predicated on innuendo, incomplete info, and leaks. Okay, well, maybe it's in part on leaks, and maybe it is incomplete info. That's why they're reviewing the emails on that computer. The leaks have been, if they haven't been authenticated, they've not been disputed.
Yeah, no one from her campaign has come out and said that never happened or I never wrote that email. I don't know what they're talking about.
And here's another thing. We've mentioned this guy's name, Assistant Attorney General Peter Kadzik, who wrote the letter to Congress on Monday following up on Comey's letter on Friday saying DOJ is going to work with the FBI per this email review. And Kadzik is a longtime buddy of Podesta. He represented Podesta. Podesta was his client in the Monica Lewinsky matter 20 years ago.
How is that even?
And
they're
now,
all in bed together.
Well, exactly. And now we find Politico, in an email from Kadzik's personal account titled Heads Up in May of 2015, he wrote, quote, "There is a House Judiciary Committee oversight hearing today where the head of our civil division will testify, likely to get questions on State Department emails. Another filing in the FOIA case went in last night or will go in this AM that indicates it will be a while, 2016, before the State Department posts the emails." Podesta forwarded the email to a cadre of top Clinton aides, adding, quote, "additional chances for mischief." So Kadzik is giving Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta, his former client, a heads up about email filings in May of 2015. And now he's the guy who's going to exercise at least partial oversight over the Uma Weiner review of emails on their shared computer.
He'll be biased in his investigation. He may already be biased.
Kevin in Libertyville.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Dan, I got to commiserate with you. The one constant in life, Ray, has been baseball and the Cubs' inability to ever win a World Series. So my life is a little spinning around right now. It's very difficult to get my head together. But one thing I wanted to notice.
Thank you, James Earl Jones.
And you mentioned this a little maybe yesterday or so. The similarities between when Reagan and Carter had their election. And not that Reagan is anything like Trump or vice versa. But the Thursday, they said it yesterday, Thursday before the election, I believe Carter was up by 1 percentage point on the RCP average. And then that Thursday, it just completely, the bottom fell out. It just has that same feeling. And the other thing we have to remember is Trump is not just running against Democrats. He's running against a lot of, he's ahead in Ohio without Kasich, and which I never really knew much about Kasich, but what my opinion of him now is he's just a complete rat. And then without the support of any of the Bush family in Florida to be doing what he's doing there, I think it's really remarkable. And he's fighting a battle on more than one front. It's not just Democrats. It's a lot of these just tough Republicans who just don't want things to change. And I think it's important that he does get in. And I was never really a Trump fan, but honestly, he's got to get in because literally draining the swamp is a good way to describe it.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. And that's what's happening, too, by the way, in terms of Republicans coming home. That's part of the Trump surge, moving from high 70s, low 80s of self-identified Republicans voting for Trump
Hugh Hewitt might
to now
even vote
90.
for Donald Trump.
Hugh Hewitt's going to vote for Trump.
He's okay, but he was definite about his endorsement of Donald Trump.
I mean, but that's what's happening. So Republicans are coming home in addition to independents breaking for Trump. And some of the other underlying numbers in some of the surveys, boy, if they hold up, you could have a repeat, an approximate repeat of 1980. I don't know that it'll be 40 states to 10. That's a reach. But the idea that you have an electoral landslide, I mean, if he wins, if he starts to pick up states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, then you're going to have effectively an electoral landslide.
But still, isn't it Florida and Ohio, too?
Well, that assumes Florida and Ohio are in the House.
Okay.
Florida and Ohio are necessities. There's no path to victory without them. So just to be clear on that, that's a fair point to raise. But it's possible he could break through. That's where this is moving. And I just don't see how she gets out from underneath this story. Now, the ad that ran during the World Series yesterday, one of the ads.
One of them. There's a lot of them.
But there was one ad in particular that included the Billy Bush tape with him walking out of the bus, and that was his kind of mostly him in his own words with respect to women. I thought that was a pretty tough ad, and I mean tough in a good way if you're a Hillary Clinton supporter. But I just think that, you want to talk about something that's baked in. What happened Friday turns everything upside down. This is new, in a sense. The Trump comments, boy, I just don't see how much sway they're going to have after the outrage from 3 weeks ago and after thinking about this. It seems to me Trump has lucked into, really, this election on Tuesday being a referendum on Hillary Clinton instead of Donald Trump. And if it's a referendum on Hillary Clinton, if she's the shaky candidate, the uncertain candidate, as Holman Jenkins described her in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, and people say yes or no to Hillary Clinton, she's going to lose, and she could lose big.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, there's new allegations against Donald Trump that he allegedly raped a 13-year-old girl. We'll explain what's really going on. Pay attention, liberal ladies. But first, here's your forecast. Patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, just sunshine for a Cubs World Series victory. A high of 65 degrees. And then tomorrow, which will more likely be the championship parade. We'll give you details when they become available. But rumor has it the parade is going to be tomorrow. And it's going to be a great day for that. Mostly sunny skies, a high near 60 degrees. Let's get those travel times. I know that the players are home. They're back at Wrigley Field as there's still traffic around the confines. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, it's quieter there now. There are still a few people milling around, but it's much quieter than it was still a couple of hours ago. There were a number of people out there celebrating. There's a lot of trash, though, so a lot of cleanup for crews in that area, and there's still a significant police presence. A couple of major crashes. Northwest side, Western Avenue shut down from the Kennedy north to Diversey with an earlier crash. Then in Morton Grove, Gulf Road is closed from Overlook to Harms with the collision. Eden's 21 minutes, Lakehook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 41. That exit to Western's closed. Eisenhower, 45 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 46. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 9:50 downtown. The tollways are much lighter than usual, with only mild delays. It's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, the holidays are right around the corner, and guess what the perfect holiday gift is? Oh, yeah, it's MyPillow. And MyPillow will extend the money-back guarantee through March. Plus, if you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get the second one for free, and 2 additional Go Anywhere pillows. Those are great for your car in case you want to take a little nappy-noopy, and I think a lot of people want to take a nap today after staying up all night celebrating a Cubs victory. So with this new deal, you're getting 4 pillows for the price of one, plus that extended money-back guarantee. It is the best offer ever. The National Sleep Foundation made MyPillow their official pillow. It's washable to remove grime and grit and sweat, things that cause allergies, acne, and asthma, and you will sleep better too. I know I do. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows plus 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one, plus that extended money-back guarantee through March. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up event right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank?
14 years.
That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Roseman.
I'm sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rose the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1-HOUR today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rose the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
The following is a paid political announcement.
You know who I'm going to miss?
The Rolling Stones?
No, Jack Franks.
Yeah, he served McHenry County for a long time. Good guy.
Yeah, but this new guy running, Steve Reich, he's a great guy too.
Really?
We won't miss a beat with Reich. He knows how to get lower property taxes. That's his field.
Yeah?
And Reich has ideas to grow the economy up here.
You really like Reich.
So did the Northwest Herald and the Chicago Tribune.
Good enough for me. I like Reich too.
I'm Steve Reich, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by the House Republican Organization.
AM 560, The Answer.
So all my liberal lady friends keep saying, well, what about Donald Trump and why he raped a 13-year-old girl? Apparently, this 13-year-old girl is now in her mid-30s, and she claims back in 1994 she was raped and assaulted 4 different times by Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the assaults took place at Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan home. He's some guy who apparently is I don't know, would have sex parties or something, allegedly.
He's scum. He's a pedophile. He's a Bill Clinton friend.
Yeah.
I think he's a Donald Trump friend, or he was, too.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
but you have a Jane Doe here with a 22-year-old case who was supposed to hold a press conference, and her attorney shows up and says, no, my client's too afraid to come forward.
Yeah, and afraid to come forward because she's getting death threats. Here's attorney Lisa Bloom.
Jane Doe has received numerous threats today, as have all the Trump accusers that I have represented. She is living in fear. She has decided that she's too afraid to show her face. She's been here all day, ready to do it, but unfortunately, she's in terrible fear.
Now, there's no evidence to substantiate that he raped her, and of course, Donald Trump denies it. But she says she's going to reschedule this big announcement, so we get to meet this 35-year-old woman who was raped.
Okay. After 12 women have come forward, but she's too afraid at the death threats and so forth. I have no idea the underlying allegations of the case. I mean, in terms of specifics.
Well, they filed a lawsuit, and they're going to the first court hearings in December 16th.
Here's if this is what you think is going to get the Hillary Clinton criminal investigation out of the headlines, don't think so. Nice try. Here's a related fun story on the other side. Trump, Minnesota, 77,000 high school students from 213 high schools participated in a mock election. Minnesota.
Yeah.
77,000 high school students.
That's great.
Who do you think won?
I'm going to have to go with Gary Johnson.
Well, interesting guess, but no. Trump 35% to Hillary 33% of the vote. I just hope those were secret ballots, because can you imagine how those hippie Wellstone voters in Minnesota, what they'll do to those poor kids who voted for Trump if the ballots weren't secret? There's going to be a lot of groundings up in the land of 10,000 lakes.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey, you've heard the name Turnkey IT for years on this radio station, and you know that they do something with IT for business. The truth is that Turnkey IT supports users, not simply the devices. Now, the average consumer has just under 4 connected devices, that they use daily: smartphones, tablets, laptops, desktops. And these devices connect to fitness devices, watches, thermostats, even refrigerators. So the professionals at Turnkey IT help you connect all of them together so your company is as connected as you want it to be. Turnkey IT team has a great team of professionals who help users every day, just like you and me. From the simplest to the most complex systems, they make technology workable, usable, and reliable. So if you're tired of just settling for technology and really want to make your technology work for you, then visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to get your tech world spinning. That's turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Ecosexuals think having sex with the earth can save the planet.
And did you hear the Cubs won the World Series? But first, let's go to the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
See that car Ben Zobrist won last night for being MVP? That's a slick-looking Camaro. Bill Murray, by the way, tried to hijack it and drive away off the field with it. He didn't make it. 51 degrees, some fog in the area, some dense fog in spots. And Cub players are back here in Chicago after winning the World Series. Anthony Rizzo got off the bus holding the Commissioner's Trophy at Wrigley this morning after last night's 8-7 win. In other news we're following this morning, Police say 3 were killed and a 4th critically hurt in a Chicago shooting that's being investigated as a possible domestic incident from early this morning. 4 were killed. 2 more are critically hurt in a crash the Wisconsin State Patrol says was caused by a wrong-way driver on I-94 near Deerfield. Officers responded to a complaint of an SUV driving erratically. Apparently, that SUV then turned around and headed against traffic, colliding with 2 cars. 3 passengers in 1 car were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the other car also died at the scene. He was a 23-year-old man from Northbrook. With just days to go before the election, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump campaigning in key swing states, Clinton in North Carolina, Trump in Florida. 2 U.S. service members are dead, 2 wounded after an attack in Afghanistan today. The suspect in the murders of 2 Iowa police officers is in custody after giving himself up. Scott Green was captured simply walking down a dirt road. Chicago police officer is in federal custody on charges of sex trafficking with a 14-year-old girl. Officer William Whitley was named in a criminal complaint. He was actually stripped of his police powers and assigned to desk duty in September 2015 because of that probe. And with the success of the Broadway musical Hamilton, Sotheby's today is expecting to have a hit on its hands. The auction house will be selling hundreds of manuscripts and letters, some previously unknown, from Alexander Hamilton on January 18, but the preview begins today. The collection has been held by the Hamilton family for 200 years, and many include love letters from Hamilton to his wife, Eliza. NBA last night, Boston beat the Bulls 107-100. The news, a service of Subway. Come into Subway this Thursday, November 3rd, and get a free sub when you buy any sub and any drink. Plus, Subway will then donate a meal to Feeding America for each sub purchase. So help a hungry community, buy one, get one free, and help feed America. Only at Subway. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You know what? I want to tell you something, America.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We ask our cops to do an ugly, impossible job. And way too many of us hate on them every day. I'll tell you what, America, you are going to wake up, so help me God, America, you are going to wake up one day without police officers in this country. And you will deserve it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dan Patlack, your taxpayer advocate, and Citizens for Dan Patlack paid for this ad.
Dan Patlack is gaining support. The Daily Herald says he speaks with youthful energy and passion about the agency's mission of assuring fairness to all. Patlack approaches the job not so much like a politician, but as a commissioner whose responsibility is to rule the way the evidence and numbers tell him to rule. The Chicago Tribune says Patlack is smart and diligent, and he tries to keep the system fair. The Sun-Times says Patlack has the better professional credentials. Dan Patlack promised and delivered improvements at our Board of Tax Review. Online appeals, online evidence submission, over 200 assessment appeal seminars to educate taxpayers about the appeal process, and increasing transparency, with all decisions available on the Board of Review website.
I appreciate the editorials, but the most important endorsement is yours on Election Day. With your vote on November 8th, I will fight unfair assessments and keep the Board of Review responsive to regular folks. I'm Dan Patlack. It is my privilege to serve you. Thank you.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy now runs 49 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. The exit to Western is blocked due to a crash on Western, which has Western closed up to Diversey. The Edens is 20 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, 49 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 47. Stevenson, 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan is 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, heavy 120 to Atkinson. Northbound slow Cicero to 75th. From the Stevenson to 47th, up from the Reagan Toll to North Avenue. Traffic is a service of Accountemps. You know what you should be making? Visit accountemps.com/salary center to see salaries for more than 400 accounting and finance salaries where you live. It's your go-to source for accounting and finance salary information. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, patchy fog, especially as you go west, turns into dense fog with visibilities below 0.3 of a mile this morning. Sunshine begins to peel off that fog a little later. We'll top out at 65, currently 51. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I want to remind people, too, that we do have state and local elections on November 8th in Illinois.
Yes, we know that.
Well, I mean,
are you aware of that?
Sometimes people forget. I find it difficult to believe they could forget with the amount of advertisements and mail they're probably receiving. But we focus so much time on the presidential race, and we should. But your state government, your local government, that probably has a more consistent, direct impact on your quality of life than the federal government, although, if it's end of days with Hillary Clinton, perhaps you could argue that. So state elections, a statewide constitutional office election for Illinois comptroller on the ballot. This is a rarity. Normally it's with all the other constitutional offices that would be up again in 2018, but because Leslie Munger was appointed after the untimely death of Judy Bart Topinka, the General Assembly, in its infinite wisdom, scheduled a 2-year an election within 2 years in kind of the presidential cycle rather than the normal non-presidential cycle. And Leslie Munger, who we've had on the show before, Illinois State Comptroller, joins us now to make her closing argument. Comptroller Munger, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
So why don't we start with what the other side is doing, not just to you, but to kind of all the Republican candidates, this month-long barrage of ads from super PACs and and the Democrat Party, just directly, trying to link every Illinois Republican from Ronner on down to Donald Trump and basically just say, every Republican is affiliated with Donald Trump, endorses everything Donald Trump has done, and if you vote Republican for any office, you're voting for Donald Trump. How do you respond to that?
Well, of course, that's their standard operating practice. They can't run on their own records. They've created, certainly in the state, which I can speak to, they've created the mess that we have here, 16 years of unbalanced budgets, pension holidays, all this underfunding. The mess that we have didn't happen overnight, and they don't want to talk about any of that. And so they try to link, all of us to something that is completely out of our control. And it's just, what they always do. So I hope people will look at really each of our own records is for all these races that are up, my record versus my opponent and all the others, when you go to vote, and look at who's actually trying to stand up for the taxpayers and the people of Illinois versus maintain their own political power in their careers.
I watched your debate on ABC7, and Susana Mendoza kept saying that, you're handpicked by Governor Ronner and that you don't challenge, that you go along to get along. And actually, that's not true. And I want you to tell our listeners how you have not given everything that Governor Ronner has wanted you to do.
Well, Amy, within a couple of weeks after he appointed me to office, I had to stand up to him, and when he asked me to withhold fair share union dues from employee paychecks who are not in the union, I could not do that legally. I would have been violating my oath, and so I had to tell him no, and I took a lot of heat for that, actually, at the time. I've also stood up to the Attorney General when she sued me to stop paying state employees when we started our new year without a budget. State employees are paid today because I went to court with my own lawyers and got an appeal and overruled her. I stood up to both sides of the aisle when I put all of the elected officer pay and legislative pay in line with the state's bills. They continue to call me and beat me up about that pretty much every day. And I actually had to go up against the governor again on some of the payments for human service organizations. We've had to work with their agencies to try and get certain things covered under some of the court orders that are out there that should have been paid that were not being covered. So, and I think it's important for people to know, I didn't know the governor other than just as a candidate before he appointed me to this role. I don't have some decades of, long friendship. I really just met him through being a candidate, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve our state.
And I want you to address one of the your opponent's ads that I've seen that I know is misleading, takes a soundbite of yours out of context because I know what the facts are, and we've also discussed it on this show. This is from an interview you gave on a radio station where you said, the ad has you saying essentially that you prioritized state legislators over human service agencies and nonprofits in terms of payment of unpaid bills or payment of salaries versus unpaid bills. Can you address that false claim in that ad?
Yes, thanks, Dan. This is just one of the many things where she has twisted and distorted the truth. It's kind of standard operating practice, I think, with her these days. But the quote was, I was explaining why I put our pay at the back of the line, why I put legislators and elected officers behind everyone else, because by not doing that, I would have been essentially prioritizing our own pay. And so what she did is she took the middle part out and eliminated the part that's actually why I did it. It was the motivation. It wasn't political. It was because we can't pay our bills. We need to prioritize people most in need. We need to free up every ounce of cash to make payments in very tight cash-constrained circumstances.
And this is why one of the reasons, especially in this climate, why the comptroller's office is so important, kind of relatively obscure office, probably in the minds of Illinoisans generally speaking, but it is much more profile than it's ever had for exactly this reason, all the challenges facing the state and, by extension, your office. And following up on that, just to put an exclamation point on your seriousness about what you just described, and that's the position you've taken, you've also proposed this idea of no budget, no pay on a go-forward basis. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so the idea, everyone probably knows in our Constitution that we are required to have a budget that's balanced in Illinois, and we have not actually had a balanced budget passed by our legislature and governors since 2001 because there's no consequence if they don't do it, and we see the ramifications now. So no budget, no pay actually puts in place some teeth and some consequence into that requirement, and we will have to pass it through law. And if we can't get it through the legislature to be called for a vote, we're going to go via petition. And the idea is that you have through the legislative session, they can work to pass a balanced budget. If they fail to do so by the end of the legislative session and have it signed and ready to go, we stop paying them. All of the elected officials, myself included, in that we stop getting paid until we get the job done, and there's no retroactive pay. And it's been done in other places. It's actually done in California. And what a surprise. Legislators finally got their act together and started passing balanced budgets on a timely basis because it finally hits them in the pocketbook instead of everyone else.
So your Democratic challenger, Susana Mendoza, why isn't she ready to be Illinois comptroller? Why are you better for the position than she?
Well, my opponent claims that she is an independent, truth-telling fiscal watchdog. She's not independent. She has spent years working in lockstep with Speaker Madigan. She has voted for every one of his unbalanced budgets, every one of the pension holidays that he wanted passed. She voted to raise her own pay while not contributing to pensions. She's put herself first and her party first over and over again. And even when the state was drowning in $10 billion worth of bills and we had to put in place the largest tax increase in our history, she was saying he's the leader we need for the future and he is a great public servant. So she's not independent. She's not a truth teller. We've already seen how she's distorted my record, and she doesn't want to talk about how she's she's built two pensions on the public tax, on taxpayers, 2 publicly paid salaries. She distorts that record. I don't know if you saw that she had to be sued by Best Buy before she was ever in the Illinois House. It was information that came out a couple of days ago because she didn't pay her own bills. And then she came out and said she sued Best Buy. But I think when the sheriff shows up at your house with a summons, and you're the defendant, you're the one getting sued. And so she's lied about that, so she's not a truth teller. And then finally, she's not fiscally responsible. As I've already said, she's voted for all this. She's up to her eyeballs in the mess, and she's trying to blame her decade of doing this on me. And, I'll just remind everyone, I am new to government. I came from the private sector. I've had to balance budgets. I've tried to lead by example in this role, really cutting my own budget, initiating new projects and a new computer system for the state that will save our state $500 million annually when it's fully up and running. We did open a pilot just the beginning of October. I put my own pay and the legislative pay at the back of the line of the bills because human services should be paid first. I prioritize those services. And I'm pushing no budget, no pay. I'm really here to stand up for taxpayers in the state. And if I'm unsuccessful, I go back to my nice life, not to my next political career. So I'm here for people of Illinois and to put the state first. She's made it very clear she's there for herself and to put herself first.
And if she loses Mendoza, she goes back to designing the city sticker as city clerk. Big job. All right. Yeah. She is Illinois State Comptroller Leslie Munger. The website, Leslie, the campaign website?
VoteMunger.com.
VoteMunger.com. VoteMunger.com on Tuesday.
Leslie Munger.
Yeah, there you go. Leslie Munger, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on. Have a great day, Dan and Amy.
Thanks. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Can we do this story about the Chicago Cub fan who spent $4,000 on a ticket but never got to the game?
I want to do a story about ecosexuals.
Oh, that's, you know what?
Maybe there's a Venn diagram. Maybe it's the same. Maybe that guy is an ecosexual. We'll do a combo.
But first, here's your forecast. It's very foggy out there. It's like pea soup. But as the day progresses, we'll see some sunshine, a high of 65 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 43. And then tomorrow, Friday, patchy fog in the morning again, otherwise mostly sunny, and a high near 60 degrees. Let's get those travel times. I'm sure the fog's affecting those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, in general, the travel times are a little bit lower than usual. Maybe some folks are sleeping late or staying in after last night celebrating. But there are a couple of nasty crashes blocking things. First on the north side, Western Avenue closed from the Kennedy to Diversey after an early morning crash. And then in Morton Grove, Gulf Road is closed, overlooked to Harms. Edens is just 20 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 30 to Kennedy. 49 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. The Eisenhower's 49 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 47. Stevenson is an hour and 2 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown, so it's heavier on the south side. Tollways on the Tri-State southbound, it's slow 120 to Atkinson. Northbound, Cicero to 75th, from the Stevenson to 47th, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway sluggish from Roselle to 53. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Hi, I'm Tom Sedeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. I'm reaching out to you today and asking you to take a look at your business relationships from a different angle. Have you ever wondered what organizations and causes your vendors support? I have, and it's eye-opening. Our nation is divided, and normal traditional values are coming under attack by heavily financed aggressors. I can tell you that we do not and will never support hood and matter. We do support our veterans, our students fighting for truth, and yes, AM 560. If you currently use or need a payroll service, please let's meet. If you have no need, please consider the other advertisers on this station, as we are all fighting the same fight and we need to unite. To work together, call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. On the web at precisionpayroll.com. Let's talk, let's meet, let's unite.
Owing money to the IRS is terrifying, especially when you're fighting alone. It's David versus Goliath, and at any moment they can take your paycheck, seize everything you own, and even throw you in jail. At U.S. Tax Shield, we can immediately stop the harassment and get you protected, while our experienced team of tax experts work on significantly reducing what you owe. Our IRS insiders know the laws and can take full advantage of the government's new Fresh Start initiative. This crucial knowledge can reduce your debt in ways you never imagined. In fact, these strategies have saved U.S. Tax Shield's clients nearly $3 million in 2016 alone, and we have an A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau. Fighting alone is expensive and leaves you completely exposed to the IRS's aggressive tactics. But you can end the anxiety with one simple phone call. If you owe over $10,000 or have unfiled returns, call U.S. Tax Shield now and learn about our price protection guarantee. The call's completely confidential, free, and there's no obligation. Call 800-997-5308. That's 800-997-5308. 800-997-5308.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, and with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all the we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
As you weave your way through life, reacting to events, making choices and judgments, you reach important conclusions about the world and your place in it. Is the universe knowable or unknowable? Can you find happiness on earth, or are you doomed to despair? Do you have the power to choose and achieve your goals, or are you helpless against an unchosen fate? Do you deserve to be free, or should others make decisions for you? Even if you're not aware of the conclusions you reach or why you reach them, they form the foundation of your outlook on life, present in every moment, guiding your every decision and action. I'm an objectivist. What's your philosophy? From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brooks' Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism. to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Barbecue grill ready? Check. Cooler packed and loaded? Check. Favorite jersey washed? Check. Lucky socks not washed? Check. Tickets good to go? Check. It's not even game day yet. But when it is, we'll be ready on the Husky Sports Network.
The NIU Huskies and the Toledo Rockets square off in the Huskies Chi-Town Showdown at U.S. Cellular Field, Wednesday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Don't miss this historic game right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A Pew survey finds Donald Trump supporters much more tolerant than Hillary Clinton supporters. Wait till you hear these numbers, and you will at 8:08.
And have you heard? After 108 years of waiting, the Cubs win the 2016 World Series with a wild 8-7 10-inning romp. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have a dense fog advisory up. We're cloaked in that dense fog throughout the morning. Chicago police officer is charged with sex trafficking in a developing case. Chicago Teachers Union says they will work with Chicago leaders to battle for school funding in Springfield. 12% of Illinois voters have already cast early ballots, and the Celtics hand the Bulls their first loss of the NBA season.
We got to be nice and cool, nice and cool. Right, stay on point, Donald, stay on point.
Fox News, WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Many Cubs fans lived their whole lives and never got to see this. The World Series trophy hoisted high outside Wrigley Field this morning as fans welcomed the Cubs back from Cleveland, where they won a dramatic Game 7. Fox's Jeff Manasseh is live in Chicago.
Dave, after 108 years in the famed billboard outside Wrigley Field reads World Series champions, as maybe next year finally arrives here for the Cubs.
It was absolutely fantastic. There's words can't describe it. It's insane.
Tears of joy.
It's just fantastic.
So cool.
Cubs proved they were the best team in baseball this year. They crushed it.
These are some of the tens of thousands of Cubs fans who rallied outside Wrigley Field last night and who have yet to sleep. We're still awaiting word on an official parade and celebration and when the city might dye the Chicago River Cubby blue, possibly tomorrow, Dave.
Jeff, Hillary Clinton keeps attacking Donald Trump as offensive and maybe dangerous.
Someone who wants more countries to have nuclear weapons and who could easily insult a foreign leader.
She and Trump will campaign today in North Carolina 5 days before the election.
But with your votes, you can beat the system, the rigged system, and deliver justice.
As the FBI continues to investigate Clinton and not just her private emails, Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the FBI's investigation into the Clinton Foundation, looking for possible pay-to-play interaction between the organization and the former Secretary of State, has been going on for more than a year and has now taken a very high priority in the white-collar crime division. Also, Fox News has learned foreign intelligence services may have hacked into Hillary Clinton's private server as many as 5 times, and that laptops belonging to Clinton aides Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson have not been destroyed per a limited immunity deal. A source telling Fox any immunity deal is null and void if any subject has lied at any point in the investigation. Dave.
This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Heavy dense fog, 51 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cubs players are back in Chicago after winning the World Series in Cleveland last night. First baseman Anthony Rizzo seen holding the Commissioner's Trophy, lifting it in celebration, exiting buses at Wrigley early this morning, where Cubs outfielder and MVP Ben Zobrist says it feels great to bring a championship back to Chicago.
It's like a heavyweight fight, man. Blow for blow, everybody playing their heart out, and the Indians never gave up either. And I can't believe we're, after 108 years, finally able to hoist the trophy.
Crews cleaning up quite a mess around Wrigley Field after the Cubs' World Series victory last night. In other news we're following this morning, police say 3 were killed and a 4th critically wounded in a Chicago shooting that's being investigated as a possible domestic incident. 4 were killed and 2 more critically hurt in a crash along I-94 in Wisconsin near the town of Deerfield. Wisconsin State Patrol says they responded to a complaint of an SUV being driven erratically late night on Wednesday. Then that SUV turned around and headed against traffic, colliding with two vehicles. 3 passengers in one car were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the other car also died at the scene. He was a 23-year-old man from Northbrook. 2 teens are recovering, hospitalized, after a fight broke out at a North Suburban high school. Police say a brawl happened Tuesday inside Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire. The incident remains under investigation. NBA last night, Boston beat the Bulls 107-100. On the ice tonight, Colorado and the Blackhawks. The news, a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. If you're involved in youth or high school sports, you need to know about Positive Coaching Alliance. PCA is a national nonprofit organization developing better athletes and better people. PCA workshops help coaches, parents, and student athletes pursue winning and life lessons through sports. Visit positivecoach.org. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of turnkey.pro. And here is Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Wells Fargo says expenses related to the investigation into its sales practices and mortgage issues could cost the company $1.7 billion. The bank issued a statement saying there's also a risk it could face even more costs if regulators impose more penalties. There's another merger deal, this time involving 2 companies that supply the auto industry. American Axle and Manufacturing is buying Metaldyne Performance Group. Fitbit is lowering its forecast for holiday season sales. The fitness tracker company says it's continuing to grow and is profitable, but not at the pace previously predicted. Air France-KLM is reporting weaker earnings for the summer and early fall quarter. Business declined after the terror attacks. The company also is planning a new budget airline that will start flying to Asia next winter. The Dow lost 77 points yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It rained in Cleveland.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play.
In Chicago.
Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
The drought is over.
It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. They're singing, go Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go.
Congratulations to our world champion, Chicago Cubs. This is AM 560, The Answer.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9-to-5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You wanna earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
8:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's north side, Western Avenue remains closed from the Kennedy to Diversey after an early morning crash. And on the Kennedy, inbound delays start at Foster. It's just 41 minutes, so here to downtown. Outbound 39, the exit to Western is still closed. Edens, 20 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 34. The Eisenhower, 52 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. We just had a crash reported on the exit to York Road. Injuries. Outbound at 48 minutes to Thorndale. To Stevenson, 59 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. The line is 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, so Lawrence to past North Avenue. Northbound from before Oakwood to the Stevenson. Tri-State southbound heavy, 137 to 60. Northbound Cicero to 47th. Ogden to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial slope out into the Reagan Tollway. And from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
Patchy morning fog, then some clouds turning into sunshine. Pleasant this afternoon, a high of 64. Mainly clear skies tonight, patchy fog late, low 42. Patchy fog in the morning tomorrow, otherwise mostly sunny with a high of 58. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
51 and heavy, dense fog. Reported at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series.
That's one for the books. It really was.
I'm out here crying, man. I'm so happy. I mean, I can't even really put into words how this feels.
To be a part of this is I don't have words to really tell you how I feel right now about this. I mean, I think it's all surreal, and man, it's a great feeling. What's it going to be like in Chicago, Mayor? Can I ask, do we have a plan yet for a parade?
Let me say this. You can't plan for 108 years of waiting.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I mean, are you kidding me? What a dink we have as a mayor.
I know, and he also told Rob Elgas, too, he said, you know, the Cubs, they've had come back from a rough season. No, they had the best record in baseball in the American and the National League.
Yeah.
You know, what is he talking
And
about?
then they sauntered off for a glass of Chablis. I mean, what a couple of goofs.
No, it's white Zinfandel, I think is what he's drinking. But yeah, that was, but quite a win. Come on, you have to admit it. It was a great victory. 10 innings. There's a rain delay. You know, come on, we fought back.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Zobrist gets a Camaro and a mullet to go with it.
Yeah, well, it's required. That's the required haircut.
Yeah, but fans are still celebrating Wrigley. Don't you know there?
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. I'm supposed to have class at 9:30 in DeKalb, but I don't care. I'll drive straight there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll get back to that. We have to talk about a presidential election. We talk about the future on this show, not the past.
Oh.
The past is
Oh my
the
gosh.
past
We
is
can't
gone.
have a day to party
No,
and celebrate.
that's hours ago now. That's
It's
old
not even-
news.
The players just got back to Wrigley an hour ago.
Yeah, can you go line up for the parade?
Yeah, we're dragging you to the
Yeah,
parade.
with-
You don't
with
know
your-
this, but we're taking
with your
you.
Crizzo sign. This is going to be interesting. Oh, a little programming note. I'm going to be on Windy City Live today
Oh,
to do a
yeah.
little election roundtable. That should be interesting. That's like the local version of The View.
It is. But I'm surprised that they're doing it on a day like today, a historic day. But
I'm surprised they invited me. I'm going to bring this little
you're
factoid.
going to shower too, right? And get a nice suit on there?
Yeah. This factoid is interesting, though. Pew survey. You know, tolerance is one of the words of the day, particularly of the left. I mean, it's the projection, right? They accuse those who are intolerant when it is they themselves who are the most intolerant. And Pew apparently confirms that. Nearly 6 in 10 registered voters who back Hillary Clinton say they have a hard time respecting someone who supports Trump for president, while only 40% of Trump voters feel the same about Clinton voters. So, in other words, 60-40 Clinton voters don't respect Trump voters. 60-40 Trump voters can respect a Clinton voter, even though they disagree. So who are the adults in the room again? This is interesting, too, where you dig into the numbers. The least tolerant Trump group are men older than 65, but only 45% of that cohort say they would have a hard time respecting Clinton supporters. That's 21 points lower than the most intolerant group among Clinton supporters. And who do you think the most intolerant group among Clinton supporters is? Hint, think your friends.
Women.
College-educated women. They've fashioned themselves on the left, fashioned themselves so informed and so tolerant and so compassionate, sophisticated, and yet they are the least able to defend their position and the most, spiteful towards those who disagree. Fascinating research from Pew.
Is that why I'm losing friends?
Could be. Could be.
I have no friends.
You're a case study. Now, going down the age demographic a bit, we're pleased to be joined by our next guest. She is Gabrielle Jackson Boucher. She's an author, she's an entrepreneur, and she's also a member of Evangelical Women for Trump, that coalition group. And she joins us now. Gabrielle, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you are a millennial that we talk so much about. And part of what you do professionally is to kind of help companies translate their products and the marketing of said products to millennials. How do you translate the marketing of Trump to millennials?
You know, it's actually not a hard sell. What's interesting to note is that millennials really want three things. And this is what I found from 10 years of studying this generation. We want three things when it comes to a president. We want someone who's authentic, someone who's transparent, and someone who is accessible. And Trump hits the mark on all of those three things. I think when it comes to Hillary Clinton, the biggest challenge that we have is this idea of justice. Millennials are really a justice generation, and every new day comes out more WikiLeaks, FBI Director Comey coming out last week, really causing great concern for voters of all ages. Say, what kind of person are we going to put in the White House when her moral fabric is really in question up to this point?
But Gabrielle, as a female voter, as a Trump supporter, how did you process the boorish comments that he's made and these women that are coming forward making allegations that he sexually was inappropriate with them?
Yeah, what he's said in the past is horrible, and I don't think anyone of any faith or any age can say what it is that is okay. But he's come out, and Trump has apologized, and I've accepted his apology. And moving forward, what I think the voters really need to be working on is not what someone says that offends you. We really need to be focusing on what the policies are. And I think that we have put up this false narrative that, that it's the lesser of two evils when you're going into the voting booth. Well, maybe this is never on the ballot. There's always going to be two very imperfect people that we're going to elect to lead this imperfect nation. And the responsibility is on us as the voters to take the time to look at the issues, not the personalities and not the politics, but look at the core issues. And I can tell you as a Christian, it took me looking just 5 minutes at the last debate as we're talking about partial birth abortion on the debate stage. You just needed to watch those first 5 minutes to determine where you're at and who you need to be voting for on November 8th.
Now, so much discussion, largely because the president is driving it, so much discussion right now going on about the turnout of black families in this country as it pertains to Hillary's electoral fortunes. But as a member of the coalition group Evangelical Women for Trump, a core constituency for Trump has to be evangelical turnout. And I wonder, this has kind of ebbed and flowed over the course of the campaign, depending on what's come out. Some evangelicals sitting out, some supporting, some that were supporting that stopped supporting after the Billy Bush tape, some still hanging in. Where do you think the evangelical vote is, evangelical enthusiasm, evangelical turnout for Trump?
I'll be honest with you. I have never seen the church as divided as it is now. And honestly, it's breaking my heart because we have an opportunity as a faith community to really lead in this effort of reconciliation, of bringing people together. We are so divided as a country right now across racial lines, socioeconomic lines, gender, generational lines. And I really believe it's a huge opportunity we have. But we can say it's more than just about election. It's really about loving one another. To that extent, though, I think it's important for Christians to understand what we're talking about when we say the next president will have the opportunity to determine the future of the bench of the Supreme Court. I think we throw on the Supreme Court here and there, and people don't understand, really where either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton could be appointing, 3 to 5 new justices, and that will determine not only our ability for religious freedom, but freedom of speech, freedom to gather. And so it's really important to be looking at the fiber of the individual who's there and what kind of justices they're going to be appointing.
Yeah, it seems to me the best argument for conservative Catholics, for evangelical Christians, to those who are resistant, is the argument that Tony Perkins from Family Research Council made after the Billy Bush tape surfaced, which is in explaining his continued support for Trump. My support for Trump was never about shared values. my support for Trump is that he's a vehicle for certain policy choices that are different from what Hillary Clinton is a vehicle for in terms of policy. Supreme Court nominees, religious freedom, whether it's through the courts or just through the passage of law. And that's the important thing to remember, as you say, with these two terribly flawed candidates.
Right, and it really is about how do you get the ball down the field. You don't win a football game overnight. You win it by gaining yardage. And I think we expect that we're going to win everything back overnight, but it's how do you find someone who agrees with you? Maybe not 100%, but maybe 20% more than the other person. And so what I am encouraging my fellow voters to think about is your vote is not an endorsement. When you elect someone, you are not taking complete responsibility for what that person does, but you are taking your vote and you're saying, it's not an endorsement, but it's a strategic choice for the direction and the future of this country.
Yeah,
and that's where, again, you look at the issues and you say, which one stacks up? Because I want to help create a better future rather than just focusing on the next 4 years. It's not about the next 4 years. It's about the next 40 years.
Well said. She is Gabrielle Jackson Boucher, author, entrepreneur, member of the coalition group Evangelical Women for Trump. Gabrielle, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
And she joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fog this morning, otherwise sunshine, a high of 65. And tomorrow, more of the same for which we believe tomorrow will be the championship parade for the World Series winners. Your Chicago Cubs are going to have fog in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny. High of 58 degrees. Let's get the latest. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, I-65 southbound traffic is jammed 101st Avenue to 109th with a crash in the left lane on Chicago's North Side Western. Still closed from the Kennedy to Diversey after early morning crash. The ramp from the outbound Kennedy to Western remains closed as well. The Kennedy is 44 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction, and outbound 36. The Eisenhower 56 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 45. Stevenson is an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
The following is a paid political announcement.
You know who I'm going to miss?
The Rolling Stones?
No, Jack Franks.
Yeah, he served McHenry County for a long time. Good guy.
Yeah, but this new guy running, Steve Reich, he's a great guy too.
Really?
We won't miss a beat with Reich. He knows how to get lower property taxes. That's his field.
Yeah?
And Reich has ideas to grow the economy up here.
You really like Reich.
So did the Northwest Herald and the Chicago Tribune.
Good enough for me. I like Reich too.
I'm Steve Reich, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by the House Republican Organization.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so here's what is becoming of Hillary Clinton. She has gone from an object of loathing to an object of ridicule, and that's a bad place to be as a candidate for office. Let me give you Exhibit A.
Please.
Are you ready for it?
I'm sitting down.
BleachBit?
Yeah.
You've heard of BleachBit now, right?
Because of her, yeah. It's an ultimate way to erase things or to try and delete them. So you bleach them.
And
hence the bleach bit.
And remember when she was asked about erasing her server?
Oh, yeah. She was very fun with the media. She's like, oh, you mean like wipe it away?
Right. Wiping a server.
Yeah.
You mean like with a cloth or
Yeah.
something? Wiping her server clean? You mean with a cloth? Yeah. That was funny. Well, BleachBit, the actual company that provides this product, this data deleting software, is using Hillary Clinton's sarcasm, unfortunate comments to market their product.
Really?
BleachBit out of stock on back order. Order volume is extremely high. This was posted yesterday. Order volume is extremely high. I'm sold out and working with 2 print vendors to get more cloths. Please allow more time for signing. Because of the soft microfiber material, they're harder to sign than paper. I expect more stock in November 8th and 14th, but it'll still take time to fulfill orders. I'm not efficient like Amazon Prime, and I sincerely apologize. May take weeks to catch up. Remember to double check your shipping address. They recount the quote, and they offer this marketing proposal for BleachBit. After you've smashed your BlackBerry, don't forget to wipe the fingerprints from your email server with this non-abrasive soft microfiber cloth or something. So they're marketing BleachBit as cloth or something rather than this data deleting software per Hillary's characterization. Thin, foldable size makes it easy to stash the cloth or something in burn bags. 6x6 size quickly wipes even the biggest email servers with thousands of emails. Buy an extra cloth for your VIP client.
You got to say it in your pitch phrase. Buy an extra cloth for your VIP client.
Yeah, you're so much better at that.
Thank you. And but wait, there's more.
You should be on infomercials with that
I should.
ShamWow guy.
Oh, I know.
Optionally autographed on the back by Andrew, creator of BleachBit, printed in the USA, guaranteed not to prove intent, or you will get a full refund paid when you are released from prison.
Full money back guarantee.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Pretty good. I like it. Related story. We were talking about constituency groups, where they're falling. And, this group is important to Hillary, too. And I don't know if they're going to show up on Tuesday. Ecosexuals. Ecosexuals, of course, you know this, Amy, believe having sex with the earth could save the planet.
Oh, is this that article with those 2 ladies who are making out with a grass mask on?
Yeah.
Because I love
that's right.
I want my grass mask back, Dan, if you can please put it on my desk.
Making love to Mother Earth. I mean, talk about
gross.
Talk about an edible complex. So here's the thing. Ecosexuality, term with wide-ranging definitions. I know you've been looking into this.
Where's my ecosexual story?
Amanda Morgan, she's on faculty at UNLV. They have professors. She's involved in the ecosexual movement. Ecosexuality could be measured in a sense not like the Kinsey scale. On one end, it encompasses people who try to use sustainable sex products or enjoy skinny dipping or naked hiking. On the other are people who roll around in the dirt having an orgasm covered in potting soil.
An orgasm with the earth?
Where do you fall on that scale?
An orgasm with the earth? I'm confused.
Well,
how does this
or
work,
with another
Dan?
person. The point is,
I don't understand.
The point is that we're all like the Kinsey report, this junk science. We're all ecosexuals. just to varying degrees. Some of us
I'm
use
not
sustainable
heterosexual.
sex products, and others roll around in the dirt. 2 individuals, Annie Sprinkle
Oh, of course, her name's Sprinkle.
and Elizabeth Stevens, have made it a personal crusade. They've published an eco-sex manifesto on their website, Sexecology. That's
I'm
a s-
looking that up right now.
Yeah,
Or
that's,
will I get in trouble if I look this?
that's-
Sexecology?
that was the gateway website for Wiener. They produced several films on the theme, including a documentary, Goodbye Golly Mountain, an ecosexual love story, which depicts the polyamorous relationship between them and the Appalachian Mountains. They're also featuring a piece in theaters across the country, Dirty Sexecology, 25 Ways to Make Love to the Earth, and they've officiated wedding ceremonies where they and fellow ecosexuals marry the earth, the moon, and other natural entities.
Let me guess, their parents were raised in communes.
I don't know. I don't know about their rearing.
Okay.
LGBTQ
ZBTYXC.
needs another letter.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Introducing the perfect getaway, nestled in the prairie, a place you can go to unload the stress of the day and recharge your inner peace. A place that fills your senses with fresh air and the sweet sounds of your Second Amendment rights being exercised. It's where you go to clear your head.
Set your sights for the range at 355. Shoot in a brand new state-of-the-art facility with 2 ranges, one programmable for distance and the other for turning and tactical drills, featuring Mancom Touch Plus and Mancom Touch and Go systems. Trust us, it's cool. The range at 355, situated on a private parcel of wetlands at the crossroads of I-55 and 355, right off Boughton Road. A shooting oasis with a full array of firearms, ammunition, accessories, and classes with professional guidance and courteous instruction. Take a vacation from the mundane. The Range at 355, founded by patriots like you.
For range hours and info, visit range355.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, now it looks like the parade for your Chicago Cubs may take place on Monday because police officers are exhausted after working so late after Game 7.
Yeah, well, we're having Cubs Spirit Day here tomorrow, and I'm not going to work in that kind of hostile environment.
You just got the memo?
Yeah,
oh,
I
you're going to have to wear
saw the
Cubby
email.
blue. Oh, poor Dan. You look so cute in blue and red.
I'm being discriminated against for my Sox fandom.
Well, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the best. Peggy Kaczynski from NBC5 will be here. Is this a dynasty in the making? She'll break down the game. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, fog, heavy fog, 51 degrees, really crimping the visibility right now. We'll keep our eyes on that, and it is a traffic problem as well. Jim Talamonte is tracking things in the AM 560 Traffic Center as well. Cubs are World Series champs. For the first time in more than a century, Ben Zobrist, your MVP. He and Miguel Montero driving in runs in the 10th. Zobrist says it's good to hoist a trophy in Chicago after such a tough series.
It's like a heavyweight fight, man. Blow for blow, everybody playing their heart out, and the Indians never gave up either. And I can't believe we're after 108 years finally able to hoist the trophy.
Cubs overcame a 3-1 deficit in that best of 7 to claim the first title since the team was world champions in 1908. The FBI's investigation of the Clinton Foundation now reportedly a high priority. Sources telling Fox News that the year-long investigation is focusing on groups and individuals who made substantial contributions to former President Bill Clinton's charity. They claim there are claims they expected access to the State Department when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. 2 U.S. service members are dead. 2 are wounded after an attack in Afghanistan today. They were on mission with the Afghan forces. Police say 3 were killed and a 4th critically hurt in a Chicago shooting that's being investigated as a possible domestic incident early this morning. 4 were killed, 2 more critically hurt in a crash on I-94 near the Wisconsin town of Deerfield. Wisconsin State Patrol says an SUV turned around and headed against traffic around 10:15 last night. 3 passengers in one car were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the other car also died at the scene. He was a 23-year-old man from Northbrook. Chicago sports last night, of course, Cubs were winners over Cleveland, but the Bulls played on as well. They lost to Boston 107-100, and on the ice tonight, Colorado and the Blackhawks. The news, a service of Staples. Staples with low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner will be ordered from in-store kiosk with a $10 discount, plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher feels a surprise coming.
I just don't think the excitement or the enthusiasm or the going into the voting booth and voting for Donald Trump is going to be stopped. I think we better be prepared for a big surprise on November the 8th.
I believe that with all of my heart.
Hey, the Cubs and the Indians in the World Series, anything can happen, right?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
If you're serious about selling your home, now is the time. Supply is low and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. I've done the research, and along with my Salem Radio colleagues, Mike Gallagher and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. That demand helps sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul, SAUL.net, or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
8:35. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, it's just a 20-minute drive from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 31. The Kennedy, 49 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 38 from Montrose, 31 on the Express. Outbound, it's 18 to Montrose, 42 minutes to O'Hare. The exit to Western remains closed. Early morning crash on Western. Inbound Eisenhower, 53 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 36 from Manheim. Outbound 44 to Thorndale. Stevenson is 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, tight from 137 to 60. Northbound, very slow Cicero to 47th. And heavy Ogden to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow, Roselle to 53. Veterans Memorial, 75th for the Reagan Tollway. And Army Trail to 290. Southbound 53. Slow Randy Euclid. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Heavy, dense fog this morning. It is a problem out there. Drive with care. Otherwise, clouds, then some sunshine later this afternoon, high 65. Fog returns overnight, low 43, and otherwise a sunny day tomorrow, high 58. 51 in fog at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Great events start with really great catering professionals, and that all begins with their delicious menus at tastycatering.com.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Cubs won the World Series.
The long wait is over.
Despite Peggy Kaczynski saying they would have to wait till next year.
She didn't say that. That's conjecture on your part.
No,
She's saying that this is a dynasty in the making.
It wasn't conjecture on my part. It was misrepresenting what she said. It was worse than conjecture.
All right, well, here, real quickly, Bill Murray, we talked about how at Game 6 he gave this woman a ticket. She's an Evanston, Illinois native. And not only did he give her a ticket, but she didn't realize she was sitting right next to him, third row behind home plate.
And I was like, God, I really appreciate you giving me this ticket. And he said, not only am I giving you the ticket, you're sitting with me.
Yeah, I mean, what great.
That's cool.
Bill Murray's cool.
That is
coolest guy in the world. And then you have a guy named Marty Joseph. He bought a ticket at StubHub for $4,000 yesterday. Like many people, they were scrambling to get to Cleveland. He gets on an American Airlines flight, never takes off. Because there's, weather, obviously, but also there's too many private planes landing at Cleveland's airport that the backup would be too much. So they just canceled the flight, and he was out $4,000.
We get on, pull out a little bit, and then he came back on and said all air traffic to Cleveland has been shut down at the Cleveland airport because there's too much air traffic with all of the private jets and the delays from other flights.
Private jets that Rahm Emanuel run.
Well, that's his fault. I mean, all the Cubs fans in Chicago have private jets or access to them. You want to be a Cubs fan, you got to be able to fly to away games on a private jet. That's known.
Forget the megabus. You need the private plane.
All right, for informed commentary on the World Series championship, the first in 108 years. The next one will be in 21, 24.
Stop it.
We're pleased to be joined again by our friend, NBC5 sports reporter, Peggy Kaczynski. Peggy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Look, Dan, you're just like my son. My son is a White Sox fan, and boy, every minute he's giving it to his twin, who's the Cub fan, about, well, it's only one. It's only one.
How old's your son, the Sox
14.
fan? Yeah, that's about my maturity level. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. But I mean, the game last night, I was just, honestly, I'm surprised that more people didn't have heart attacks. I know a few people had panic attacks, and I'm not kidding you, ambulances had to respond to them. But this is really the beginning of a dynasty, don't you think, Peggy?
Oh,
well, they're so young.
Here we go.
They're only what? What's the average age?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. It's not so much a dynasty because, you have to actually win them to
in the making.
This is a team that's built to be in the postseason continually for the next few years. I mean, they have 6 players under the age of 25. They absolutely should be contending year in and year out. This year, everything was going right from the very beginning. So there's no reason that they should not be playoff contenders every single year for at least the next 5 years.
Yeah, now, Aroldis Chapman, not that they need him. I mean, he couldn't even get Raja Davis out. But Aroldis Chapman, he's a free agent. He's not going to be back next year, is he?
He's going to get a lot more money, I think, somewhere else. Yeah. I don't see him being back unless he had so much fun with this team because, they're so fun that he decides he wants to stay in Chicago. But I would have to think that there are going to be a lot of teams dangling a lot of money for him.
Well, sure. He wants to hang out with Crizzo forever.
Oh, stop it. Speaking of people that aren't coming back, David Ross, that solo home run in the 6th inning, what a way to end your Major League Baseball career.
It's really, you could not write the script. A backup catcher who has become so beloved in Chicago in 2 short years being here. He has Eddie Vedder dedicating the 7th inning stretch to him in one game. He catches a no-hitter, which is every catcher's dream in their career. And then he hits a home run in the World Series, although it wasn't quite looking like a storybook ending. But what a great dramatic pause when he had the error in the inning before. I mean, the whole story of David Ross just blows my mind because it's pretty funny.
It's an
he?
incredible
39?
story.
39, the oldest player
he's
to
in his
hit
early
a home?
60s.
No, he's not in his 60s. Does he have his ARP card, Peggy?
Yeah, right. He's 39. He'll be getting it soon, though.
Now, Peggy, let me ask you this. I don't want to play Monday morning manager after they win the title. But if they hadn't won, there would have been a lot of reviews of Joe Maddon's decision to pull Kyle Hendricks, wouldn't there be?
Yeah, well, not only Kyle Hendricks, it just seemed like he was committed to going to John Lester because Lester was warming up, that he had to bring him in. Hendricks had settled down at that point, and, they had a 4 or 5 run lead. Yes, I think it would have been the fact that he brought in Lester and then that he went to Chapman. After 2 nights ago in Game 6, there was no reason to use Aroldis Chapman. Everybody was wondering why he was doing that. Rest his arm. He brought him in Game 6 and then to do it again in Game 7 when he obviously did not have the velocity. So,
did any reporters ask him why he did it?
Well, they were too busy, too busy celebrating.
At that point, it doesn't matter. You can't ask. At that point, there was. I mean, you're talking about history. That kind of trumps the question of why did you do it. But, Dan, you're right, though. It absolutely would have been. The biggest issue would have been, did Joe Maddon lose it?
So will you be the first to call for Joe Maddon's termination because of that decision?
Oh, my goodness, no. It's baseball. These are the things that, happen in a baseball game. Listen, I still smell like champagne.
Yeah, I saw you in the locker room last night. How fun was that?
I'm not sure how fun it was because it might have been the smallest area I've ever been in for a locker room celebration, and they certainly did not want us in there. They were dropping lots of naughty words, and but it was really cool just to be able to witness history and to say that you were there for it.
Oh, that's great. And then you're not only, covering them, you were a fan. Didn't you used to ditch school to go to Cubs games when you were a kid?
Gosh, Amy, who told you that?
I don't know.
Please.
Wow.
Listen, I grew up both a Sox and a Cub fan, but when I was in high school, absolutely. We used to get out of my Spanish class from Res High School, take the bus to the Addison bus, and then go to games, and get a couple bucks to get into the bleachers, and then I'd wait to get a picture of Bill Buckner afterwards. So, yeah, I was a big Cub fan. I have kind of steered away from the Cubs. More towards the South Side team as an adult.
Nice.
But I certainly appreciate this, and it means so much to my family, who are huge Cub fans. So it's been really a great experience.
And you have like 18 brothers and sisters? Or what? How many?
9 siblings. 9
Wow.
Siblings.
No,
That's a lot of Kaczynskis.
We need more Kaczynskis in order to fill up Comiskey.
Yeah, you know what, Dan? That's a good point. A couple of them are Sox fans, and begrudgingly, it was kind of like, oh gosh, look at this. But we're everyone's happy.
Yeah,
except for Dan.
Yeah.
No. All right. So
except for you, Dan.
When are you heading back?
Yes.
Are you guys on your way back? Do you have to do more reports there today, or when can we watch you next on NBC5?
We did not get done. So here's the thing: that once the team left at 4:15 Cleveland time. And we left about a half hour after them to go back to the hotel. So 4:45, we got back to the hotel about 5:15.
So give us a little bit of kind of inside dirt on the Cubs. I mean, no, it's like when you do with Hawks championships too. It's like who is unlikely to be back as they reconstitute the team to go for it again. So certainly Aroldis Chapman unlikely to be back. Anybody else that's part of that nucleus besides David Ross?
No, I mean that's what's interesting about this team, that they've locked so many players up. Someone like John Lackey still has another year left on his contract. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks around, because he just looked like he didn't have it at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was a 39-year-old pitcher. It'll be interesting to see if he's back. A young guy like Jason Hamill, we'll see if he's back. There could be some options in the starting rotation with this team. So otherwise, the position players, everyone's locked up. That's why we say this is a team that could contend for years on because they're so young.
Now, Chicago's a big government Democrat town. They believe in redistribution. So I wonder if there's a possibility that the Sox will get redistributed some of the players from the Cubs to make them more competitive.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. Is Dexter Fowler a player that he came back on that 1-year deal? He could hit the market again. Looks like a player that the Sox might be interested in. One of the pitchers, you could look at the same thing. This is going to be an interesting offseason for the White Sox to see, what they do with their team. But I'd much rather talk about the Cubs right now. This is their moment.
I understand.
All right, so is there one thing from last night that you'll hold close to your heart, or anything that happened that we didn't see on NBC5 News?
No, you know what? I think it was more just gosh, Amy, the dramatic ups and downs in that game was absolutely so typical of what the Cub fans had been waiting for so long. And then to have this jump out to this lead and you get excited about your team again. And then they lose the lead and then you're like, oh no, here we go. And then it starts raining. I mean, pouring rain. Everyone just looked at each other and thought, oh, this is so typical of how this game is going to go. I'm very impressed with how they came back, though. The momentum was definitely in Cleveland's way when the rain delay hit, and to have Jason Hayward gather the team together in the weight room, the entire team in the weight room during that short rain delay, and give them a little motivational speech, really is just stuff that you read about.
All right. And maybe Penn Zobrist will give you a ride in his new Camaro. Ride you to the parade. How about that? All right. She is Peggy Kaczynski, NBC5 sports reporter. Peggy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime, guys.
Yes, thank you. And get some sleep, all right? She joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I love Peggy.
I forgot to ask her when she wiped Chris Bryant's brow of the champagne if his image appeared on the cloth.
Come on, he's gorgeous. You're just jealous or envious or maybe a little bit of both.
So dreamy.
Yes, he is. All right. Today, we're going to have patchy fog, which you can tell looks like pea soup out there. And by this afternoon, some clouds, some sunshine, a wonderful warm high of 65 degrees. And tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning, otherwise mostly sunny. A little bit cooler, a high of 58. I think everyone's kind of sleeping in today. Don't you think so, Jim Telemonte?
Yeah, travel times indicate that, Amy. It's definitely lighter than usual in most places, especially the north side expressways. The Edens is just 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. The Kennedy, 49 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. The exit to Western still closed after an early morning crash, which has Western blocked off. The Eisenhower, 51 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 44. The Stevenson is 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, still heavy 137 to 60. Northbound Harlem to 47th. The Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Do have police activity on the southwest side at 71st and Pulaski. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, ChicagoRadioDeals.com wants you to take some time for yourself to relax, renew, and recharge. And here's the perfect way to lower your stress level and bring balance to your life. Make a visit to the Primal Ocean Salt Cave in LaGrange. Your stress begins to disappear when you step into the pink Himalayan salt cave or float on a bed of water that envelops you in color and warmth. Make time for deep relaxation in the aqua massage bed or feel renewed with the Ionic Detox Foot Bath. There you go. Experience it all now with packages that include one salt cave session, plus an aqua massage or aqua escape session, or that detox foot bath session. Packages normally $65 to $70, only $40 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Primal Ocean Salt Cave spa treatments are a great way to take a vacation from the everyday. Plus, you can stay fully clothed and dry the entire time. You'll love how calm and refreshed you'll feel. So if you haven't tried this yet, do it now. The Primal Ocean Salt Cave deals are very limited, so for more healthy deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spraveri, CEO of Spraveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spervery's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dan Patlack, your taxpayer advocate, and Citizens for Dan Patlack paid for this ad.
Dan Patlack is gaining support. The Daily Herald says he speaks with youthful energy and passion about the agency's mission of assuring fairness to all. Patlack approaches the job not so much like a politician, but as a commissioner whose responsibility is to rule the way the evidence and numbers tell him to rule. The Chicago Tribune says Patlack is smart and diligent, and he tries to keep the system fair. The Sun-Times says Patlack has the better professional credentials. Dan Patlack promised and delivered improvements at our Board of Tax Review. Online appeals, online evidence submission, over 200 assessment appeal seminars to educate taxpayers about the appeal process, and increasing transparency, with all decisions available on the Board of Review website.
I appreciate the editorials, but the most important endorsement is yours on Election Day. With your vote on November 8th, I will fight unfair assessments and keep the Board of Review responsive to regular folks. I'm Dan Patlack. It is my privilege to serve you. Thank you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Are you going to go to the rally parade thing with Jim Belushi and John Cusack and Vince Vaughn and Eddie Vedder and Billy Corrigan?
And Bill Murray.
And Bill Murray.
Don't forget Bill Murray.
All of you celebrities.
Yeah, maybe we can have our Ricketts friends back because they have their fancy friends that they've been hanging out with, for the past month. In the playoffs, all these local celebrities, Hollywood goers come out of the woodworks, want tickets, want to hang out with them in their suites and be their friends.
Last night at the celebration, I thought Ted Cruz was there, and it turned out that was Tom Ricketts.
Exactly, but Bill Murray was there, and he was great. Always appreciative, just a diehard Cubs fan.
Oh, well, I had a feeling it was going to be 11 innings. It was only 10, but I thought it was going to be 11 innings. I had it in my head this morning. And the hotel room I was in was 2016. That was my hotel room. And they doubled the rate overnight. And I was like, what the hell? And then I thought, I better not give up this room. It's just too good looking.
So with respect to the rally, parade, all those festivities, Crane Kenny, the president of the operations for the Cubs, working with the city, aiming for Friday, but everything's not cleared up yet. And Tiny Dancer was there with one of your girlfriends, Rob Elgis, and he was asked a question about that, too.
Hard-pressing details. We want details. We want to know when we're going to party.
I saw you in the elevator, and I said, they're up 6-3. You cautioned it's not over yet, and it wasn't.
No, it's not over, but the amazing thing, their whole season is about the comeback kid.
What's it going to be like in Chicago, Mayor? Can I ask, do we have a plan yet for a parade?
Let me say this. You can't play him for 108 years of waiting.
And then they made out.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago.